Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to a new week of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a good night tonight. Kevin Day is here. You may recognize his name from the 2004 USS Nimitz incident. We got Dirty Filth here with another great cartoon, and we have all of you. Let us say hello to Race Fan in the gold medal position, and B with a silver, Tim Mothman and his goatee taking home a bronze medal tonight. Simon Says, how are you? And Jimmy Gonzalez, the attorney at large, Michael Morris, Robert Lamoth, Stephanie Kenny Blankenship. Ruth Kleber is here. Ruth Kleber will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Anna Moline, how are you? And Lee the Bee, what's happening? Ron Baca. And who else do we have here? We have Griff. And we have Brown Dwarf. Good to see you. Sorry, guys, I am totally out of energy tonight. I'll explain why in a little bit here. Jenny White Bear, thank you for joining us. Roger Murray, good to see you. Keyshawn, what's happening? And who else is here right now? We have SG1, was Disclosure. Am I right? Yeah, you're in the right place. And thank you for coming on in, by the way. Number 24 in your program, starting at left wing from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. There he is. Good to have you here, Lars. Hello, lovely Kira. I know you're listening, but glad you're here anyways. Bleddy and my man, thank you for coming on in. Sir Grizz, W. Decker, thank you for kicking off the super chat tonight. Very much appreciate your love and support of SOR. Thank you very, very much. Who else we got? Blenny and my man and Paramarv. Good to see you. Sir Grizz is back. Sir Grizz will be signing autographs after the show as well. Light up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. T-Bone, what's happening, my man? And Thomas Rock. Crystal J, thank you for joining us. JMJ12, good to see you again. Digger Dog, Phil Minervino, Badass Billy Gunn, Welsh Hammer, and the purple-haired Pixie Laura. Thank you for all of you coming on in. Canna Chef Chris from Windsor. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And who else do we have here? John P. Adventures, welcome back. And Dutch Hank, nice to see you this morning, Dutch. Thank you for joining us. Monica, thank you for coming on in. And let's see here. Who else? We got Chicken Leg 71. Welcome to SOR chat. And Willard Wright, nice to see you. D Cypher, good to have you here. And Lex Diaz, thank you for joining us. Dave Walters, how you doing, buddy? And let's see here. Asteroid, Lane Lair, welcome to SOR chat. We are, Driftwood, good to see you too. So just to let you guys know, I had to go to the hospital today. Had to go to the hospital. I was having a shortness of breath earlier today and still a little bit caught up, but I have high blood pressure. That came out, and Davey has been told that he's got to lose about 40 to 60 pounds for my health. So I started, believe it or not, yesterday in trying to clean up what I eat and everything, and it kind of hit me today. So I'm not doing very well today, so I apologize on my energy if it's not usually as high as I normally am. but we're going to get through. And old Davey got to go on diet. Yep. Here we go. With the radio side. Thank you. Hello to everybody on the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio here. My name is Dave Scott. Kevin Day from the USS Nimitz incident in 2004 is here with us tonight. So thank you, Kevin, for coming on in. And we will be getting ready for Bill WD-40 to lube us up for tonight's show. Mark Sanchez, Cosmic Fleur, not just Fleur, you're the cosmic one around here. Wee Runa, Ozzy Ange, I need to talk to you about that, by the way, Ozzy Ange. Dino Bravo, thank you for coming on in. And let's see, who else do we have here? Trot Dog, Richard Elmore. Yeah, Desert Rat, JSCO, Matthew Goodka, Super Crazy. Nice to see you all here, guys. We got 10 seconds. Our store is open on spacedoutradio.com. So make sure that you go get some swag, because we do not have ugly swag, people. Hi, Nicole Perrin and Donna C. Horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon and the SOR Space Travelers Club. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. A power show of information coming for you tonight as we take a look at UFOs, disclosure, the way the government is handling things from the USS Princeton and the USS Nimitz Tic Tac incident. Kevin Day will join us here momentarily. Then in hour number 3, we have Steve Stockton from Among the Missing and the UFO Report coming right up after that. Kevin Day is a retired U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officer, a former operations strategist, and Top Gun Air Intercept controller with more than 20 years of experience in strike group air defense, including wartime operations. He's an expert operator of the highly advanced Spy-1 radar systems with years of service on board AEGIS-equipped ships, including the VINCENNES, CHOSIN, and PRINCETON. Kevin has logged hundreds of air-to-air intercepts of suspect craft in both training and wartime operations. His off-shift service included both being instructor duty and serving with flag staffs. In November 2004, during combat training exercises, it was Princeton's Combat Information Center that discovered the fleets of anomalous air contacts, and it was radar operator Kevin Day, our guest tonight, that recommended the objects be intercepted due to the safety of flight concerns. Nimitz flights were scheduled to fill the same piece of sky shortly. Princeton took control of the first flight airborne and directed them towards the closest contact. History was then made. Kevin Day, my friend, it's been a long time since you've been on Spaced Out Radio, but we're so glad to have you back on, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and your lovely wife, Kimberly.
Merry Christmas, Dave, and my honor and pleasure to be here with everyone tonight. And I have to tell you right off the bat, I feel humbled. It took you 7 minutes to read all those names of everyone here, and to everyone that came to hear us tonight, thank you. I appreciate it very greatly, because this story truly is amazing, and in one way or another, I think it touches all of us. It's incredible what's happened, isn't it?
Well,
over the last even 6 years, and before
absolutely.
that even.
Did you think, Kevin, when this all started coming out, that you were going to be on the UFO side of history?
Oh my God, no. Oh my God, no. I didn't ask for this in any way, shape, or form. Nope. Not even a little bit. And that's probably the reason why I am here, is because back then, and again, tonight, I don't think we want to focus too much on the Nimitz encounter because that's pretty well known by now. And what you touch on now kind of is a segue into, what's happened since. But you ask a very good question. And that day when that happened, I in no way, shape, or form could even possibly imagine any of this. In fact, my only concern at that moment, was safety of flight for my aircraft. That
Right.
simple. Yeah, because I had like 18 and a half years behind that radar and other radar systems too. And I wasn't a UFO guy, far from it. I was pretty much a straight stick Navy operations specialist. And I had never seen anything like this ever. Of course, I'd always been curious. I'd listened to Coast AM and Art Bell. And, that whole cast, it's an awesome program and still is to this moment, But that's where it stopped, and I always had my eyes open, you could say. And that served me well on that fateful moment. It was on or about the 10th of November, of course, I went up to Combat Information Center. We call it CIC, or Combat for short. And that's kind of when it all kicked off. And I just noticed these contacts coming in from low Earth orbit. And I knew in that moment, okay, this is weird. And I recommended strongly we bring down all the systems. We'd all got new upgrades, all the computers and everything. Hey, we got to bring this stuff down. There's some sort of mistake going on here. And the other ships concurred. We brought everything down, brought it all back up, ran out every diagnostic we could think of. And lo and behold, they were even stronger. These were solid contacts. And I wasn't that concerned. And again, Dave, I'm not going to, this is well-known history, but there's a couple points I want to make. I wasn't that concerned because we were off the coast of our own homeland, and I got all kinds of air defenses right off the beach if I needed them. I didn't have any armament on board. It was in totally training environment. We purposely don't carry weapons because we don't want to end up shooting them when we don't want to. I mean, there's another exercise to do that kind of stuff. We separate them for safety. Until the moment I was going to do an air defense exercise, and I realized, hey, Kevin, you've got these weird objects in the sky, and I'm going to fly my aircraft in the same piece of sky. This senior chief operations specialist is now damn concerned. So Captain Smith comes down to combat and says, hey, sir, you know what's going on? I recommend we stop training and we intercept. And that's what happened. The rest is history.
Being a part of this history, did you ever want your name associated with UFOs? Did you ever look into the UFO subject? Was it ever on your map, even as a curiosity, as a young man, even before your Navy career?
Yes. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. I've always had a natural curiosity, which is true to this day. Sometimes I drive my poor wife crazy with it. I'll get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm researching something strange like microwave door hinges or something oddball, right? Because I have an insatiable curiosity, and that was true back then and true when I was a boy and remains true to this moment. So the answer is yes. I was very interested in anything that flew, and that's probably why I ended up behind radars. Yep.
Okay, but Kevin, the idea that you have this, this piece of history now that you came out at the time when you guys came out, it was very, very like spooky. Like all of a sudden, all of these guys, coming on out talking about this incident, and I thought back in the day, bravo. Whether it was you or Gary Voorhees or many other people who came out from that subject. Did you ever think that this would become, or let me rephrase that. Did you think that this story would be, you guys come out, yeah, we saw it, and that would be it? Did you think 7 years later that people would still want to be talking to you, getting your opinions of everything from that incident to what's going on today?
Oh man, no. I'd given up. I had given up. And I tried my best to speak up and say, hey, we've got a safety of flight issue here. And I literally got laughed at and asked what the hell I was smoking. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get anyone to listen. And it was very, very frustrating. Given my background and training and position, and no one would take this seriously because Dave, and I don't blame them because it's just the way it was, man. And if the shoe had been on the other foot, it's very possible I would have been doing the loudest laughing. So I don't blame anyone, but I'm hoping because that happened, it manifested into stigmata finally at least being addressed and maybe going away.
How do you feel though? How do you feel though to thousands of people out there in the UFO world? You're a hero. You're a patriot.
It's humbling. It's not why I started this. Not why I did this.
No, I understand that. You did it to serve your country. You did it to protect America. Do you think
and my aircraft?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I wanted to bring people home to their families. I know that sounds corny.
I think it sounds logical.
It was my job, you know.
Yeah.
And I can only hope that today, I haven't been to sea for many years now. And you were saying earlier during the introduction, I'm an expert in spy operations, right? Radar operations. And Dave, that was then, you know, if I walked on board a ship now, I would probably be just as clueless as you might be, because it's changed since I was there. I know it had to have. Of course, the protocols and procedures are probably the same, pretty close. You know, they've been that way for a long time, but the technology, I would be blown away, you know, probably in a good way.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but it's been a long time. So I was an expert then, but I don't say that about myself anymore in terms of technology and the, you know, what they have to work with now. Haven't kept up with it. And there was I don't have a need to know, of course, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, Kevin. Go ahead.
I want to ask you, do you think, I truly believe, and I don't want to harp on this subject because I do quite a bit during the week. I do believe there is a giant difference between UFOs and UAPs. Okay. I think UAPs are more man-made and then UFOs are. I think we're still trying to learn what UFOs are, but that's my opinion. Do you think you were dealing with something of an extraterrestrial presence back then?
Yeah. Yes. And I'll put it as simply as I can. You see this cup of coffee?
Yes.
I know it's late at night, but I get up pretty early, so every once in a while I have a cup of coffee in the evening. If I take you can see there's coffee in it, right? Imagine all that coffee is the universe. Now, if I take a single sip of that coffee, it has a taste, right? And a texture and a flavor. It would be pretty bizarre of me to think that the rest of the cup doesn't taste the same way. Based on what? It's the same chemistry, it's the same physics, it's the same temperature. So why wouldn't that be true out there too? You know, what's here on true, the same math, the same physics, the same chemistry, and likely the same biology that's here on our planet. Why wouldn't it be the same out there? You think we're special? We're not Ptolemy's world anymore. Of course, you know, Ptolemy, you know, for centuries, they believed the earth was the center of the universe because they saw everything move around it. Hey, we must, you know, they were using the theory of locality. They were the center, the local. And from Einstein, we've kind of moved past that. They've noticed spooky behavior at a distance, and the whole idea of locality is kind of lost now. And we know that there's effects that can happen that are non-local. With the right knowledge, you can actually affect physical reality from across the universe, apparently, based on entanglement or spooky behavior at a distance. Now, think about the power. Think about the power of this. If there's a thing called spooky behavior at a distance, right, and everything started from a big bang, from a point of nothingness, right, and just boom, that means by definition that everything in this universe is physically related to everything else. It would have to be just like a stick of dynamite blowing up, right? That piece way out on the side is related to the very spot where it blew up, isn't it? They're related. And now that we have spooky behaviors at a non-locality, we know that they're connected not only on a physical obvious level, they're also connected, entangled. They're quantumly entangled in the universe. I'm talking about the universe now, not stick of dynamite.
Wow.
And that's a powerful idea when you think about it. It really, truly is. And I think that is that understanding is what is missing here.
I remember meeting you at UFO Con 2020 in San Francisco, and I got to shake your hand and share the stage with you. And one of the things that has always stuck out for me was when you guys read on radar the one craft sitting at 80,000 feet and dropping to 10 feet above sea level in 0.78 seconds or something along those lines. I'll never forget you saying that, and how you just sat there jaw dropped at what you had just seen, not sure if you actually saw what you just saw on radar.
I'm really glad you brought this up, because I'd like to clarify this a little bit. Because you have the right idea, but the sequence is just could use some clarification. We were seeing contacts coming in groups out of sub-Earth orbit, 80,000 feet or so, and they were coming out of orbit in groups of 5 to 10 objects at a time, right? And they would initially set station at 80,000 feet, and then you got Catalina Island right here, and then they would sit there at 80,000 feet for a time, whatever time they desired, and then as a group they would drop down to between 20,000 and 28,000, and then they would stay there for a while, and then one by one, which was really weird, they would depart the group that was by Catalina Island, and they would transverse our Whiskey 291, which was our restricted warning airspace that we use for training, one at a time at between 20,000 and 28,000 feet. And every single one of them disappeared off radar, and the Hope Strike Group's radars about 60 miles north of Guadalupe Island off the coast of Mexico. And that was how they behaved. And I have to tell you, Dave, my main job was safety of flight, and to be able to identify everything that flew and assess their intentions. Okay, were they just a benign unknown aircraft on their way from point A to point B? They didn't know we were there, totally peaceful. Were they some nation's suspect aircraft, but yet they weren't hostile? They were just, we got to keep an eye on them. Were they outright hostile? I had to identify and gauge intention so I could give a recommendation to my commanding officer. They relied on me to do that. That was my job. And so when this started to happen, I wasn't thinking in terms of hostilities whatsoever. I was keeping an eye on them. I was following protocol, and our job at the time was to, like I just said, identify it. And because I didn't assess them as being any type of threat, we followed our protocol, which was to report them on the data links back to the beach, and the information was there in case someone did want to see it. And I've just found out recently that, they were being tracked from people on the beach, just so you know.
Oh, wow. That's breaking news for us.
And I haven't confirmed it yet, but I've heard through the grapevine from a reliable source that yes, they were being tracked by, I hesitate to say it, and maybe I shouldn't, but yeah, they were being tracked because I don't want to speak out
Leave it
of
at
school here. I don't want to
Leave
speak out of school with something. I haven't verified it yet. Put it that
Well,
way.
when you
I have to be very careful what I say, Dave, just so you know.
absolutely. Well, there's a lot of non-disclosure agreements that you still have to live by, and we're going to
And
make
just
sure
say,
that
well, and it's more than that. It's out of respect, a lot of it, you know. No one
Mhm.
make claims and say stupid stuff that may or may not be true, because that only comes back to haunt you later, you know.
True.
It
How
gives
did
more.
you hear
Go
how did
ahead.
you hear this news that allegedly there may be more people who had these on radar?
From folks just like yourself. You know, by now I'm like you, Dave. I got, we have a pretty vast network between us of people
Yes.
in the community. Yeah. And, through the community. And some members of our community are just normal experiencers like us. Some of them are whistleblowers. And oh, by the way, I'm not a whistleblower. I am an observer and an observer. And that's it. And there's a big difference. I'm not a whistleblower like Crush and those guys. They have something I don't have. They're a whistleblower. They can point to where this stuff is. I can't do that. I can tell you what happened. So that's kind of the answer. And ask me more about it if you want clarification.
No, I was actually going to, in the next half hour,
Okay.
ask you about whistleblowers, and because there had been word that you were going to speak to Congress or were hoping to speak to Congress about this. Did you get that opportunity?
It looked like it was going to happen. And I definitely applaud Congress for doing this and trying. I'm pretty proud of them in that respect, because it takes a lot of courage to stand up, especially during an election season, right? And say anything about UFOs, because you have to remember our elected Senate and Congress, they got to report back home to their voters, man. They have that responsibility, and to be able to take this on, like some of them have, I mean, that's got my respect. So long story short, it looked like it was going to happen, but my gut instinct right now is it's not going to happen. I could be surprised, but I have to remember this is an election season, and once we get once the elections are over, who knows? Who knows what will happen. And one other thing, Dave, we don't know what's going to happen outside the government between now and then. There could be another incident, or maybe an incident that's already happened that'll come public. So
You never know.
It's the flight of the butterfly, isn't it? It's the theory of the unpredictableness of where the butterfly is going to go. So a lot of things can influence that. But would I go and testify? I don't want to. But you mentioned it earlier, out of a sense of duty, I think I would have to. I'd make myself do it probably, yeah.
Are there people, or we only got about 30 seconds left. We may have to answer this on the other side, but are you still contacted by people from within the government or government agencies asking you questions about what went on?
No, but I do see them watching me. It happened 2 weeks ago. I was in town, and I go out and I exercise, run, walk every day, 3-4 miles a day, or when I can. And yeah, 2 guys popped out of the alley, both wearing the same colored shirt. Little green patch on both their right here on the right breast. Pretty buff dudes. And I was 50.
Let's hold that thought when we return on Spaced Out Radio. Kevin Day from the USS Princeton and the 2004 Nimitz incident. We will return with more disclosure talk on Spaced Out Radio right after this.
How much time we got?
We got about 5 minutes, Kevin. So just so you
cool.
know, during the breaks, I don't. Let's just hold the answer to that question when we get back. But during the breaks, our YouTube audience and our podcast audience can hear us. So let's. I just want to remind you of that.
They can hear me.
Yeah, they can hear you and see you. So let's say hello to gorgeous Kim Jellin. She's probably flossing her teeth as we speak. Mennonite Abe, good to see you, Mennonite Abe. And who else is here so far? Oh, I don't know.
Man, that's really cool how you got that scrolling like that.
Oh yeah, we'll fill up more yet.
And I like the color scheme too. That's my favorite color right there is green. Yeah.
Mine too. That Seattle Seahawks
green and red. Yep. I love those colors.
Little Timmy Senor. You know Tim.
Yep. Hi, Tim.
Yeah, Terry Holland, his beautiful mustache should be around here somewhere.
Yeah, but I recognize a lot of the names coming through.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to say thank you too, Kevin, because a lot of times I've seen you chatting away on our Facebook page there when the show is going on, and you were posting on there, giving us some inside stuff. I really appreciate you listening as a fan as well.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I take time out for this kind of stuff. You bet I do. In fact, I got some breaking news for you when we come back.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds very good.
I see someone painting, drawing here. Who is this?
That's Dirty Filth. Let's have a little peek at what he's doing here. What is he working on? Oh, he's back at the bar.
Hi, Kevin. There's no bar, Dave.
Oh, that's cool.
He's in an interrogation room.
I see that.
Yeah, it's the bar.
I like your Stonehenge. That's kind of cool.
That was from the other night on last Thursday. May or may not be rated to Vandenberg Air Force Base.
Oh, that's cool. I've been starting to doodle myself once in a while. It's fun.
I used to just draw while I was listening to the show, and then Dave goes, "Why don't we just get you to come on and draw during the show?" So, okay. Twisted my rubber arm.
I like it.
It'll look better once I ink it all up.
What was that sound? It sounded like someone farted.
No, that was me coughing.
Oh, that's right. Everyone can hear me. I shouldn't have said fart live. Sorry for cussing.
No, that's all right. We like a good we like a good rip around here every now and again. You know, we encourage people.
What's a sailor? You know the old saying, yeah.
Oh yeah, we encourage people to fart hard in our audience. You know, why hold it in?
I almost spilled my coffee.
Oh yeah, Mama Catherine, love you, my dear. I'm once again having to get my health in order here. Android, how you doing? And thank you to W Decker as well for the other super chat. We very much appreciate the love. And and
for everyone that's contributing to Dave, thank you as well, because what he does for us isn't free, and he doesn't make a ton of money doing it. I'm sure he doesn't, and so every little bit helps.
I appreciate that, Kev.
Yeah, it's true though, right? Am I lying?
Oh yeah. Dead Fish, how you doing? And there is Mennonite Abe. Thank you, buddy. Gizmo, good to have you here. 32 degrees Celsius in Australia today. My God. I got snow, finally. Finally, I got snow. I'm happy. I ate snow for the first time today. Yes, I like eating snow. Sweet Robbie G, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. Rob, text me. I need to get a hold of you here in a second. All right, we got about 45 seconds.
I got cats running amok.
Yeah. Marty Burback, good to have you here. Android, thank you for that super chat, man. Yeah. See, when you play hockey and get your nose shattered as much as I have, you end up coming up with a thing called sleep apnea. I got that too.
Ouch.
Yeah. All right, guys, 15 seconds. Thank you, Android, Mennonite A, Mama Catherine, and W. Decker for the super chats. And here we go. Everybody, stay tight. Second half hour, Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon, you can join the Space Travelers Club. Here we go with Kevin Day from the USS Nimitz UFO incident in 2004. Kevin, right before the break, you were telling a story about the aircraft that were coming out of the sky, and we were a little bit wrong on that. And then I'm just curious, if you could continue with that. Oh, let me do this here. There we go.
They would set station there for a time, and they're coming down in groups of 5 to 10 at a time. And then they would drop down as a total group, all of the objects, to about between 20 and 28,000 feet right off the coast of Catalina Island, off the coast of San Diego area. And then one by one, they would transverse our playground, Whiskey 291, off the coast of San Diego. And every single object disappeared off radar, off all the ship radars in the strike group, all in the same spot in the sky, 60 miles north or so of Guadalupe Island off the coast of Mexico. And so I told this story to Lou Elizondo, Tom DeLong, when they came to interview me here. And as soon as I told that story, Lou Elizondo looks at me, looks at Tom, and looks at Tom and says, "We're going there." And they went out there. They went out to Guadalupe Island, and they went out there to talk to the fishermen. And sure enough, the fishermen that fish in those waters all have stories of objects coming out of the sky. And according to them, they come out of the sky and they drop into the water and go straight down. They go into the water and go straight down. No splash, no nothing.
Right. You had mentioned just before the break about being followed in your hometown.
I've been being watched for, let's see, when I first noticed it was 2011. It's been easily 10 years. And actually, you know what, Dave? And a lot of people would be spooked by that. But in my case, I embrace it. I'm happy about it. I'm glad they're watching me. Be honest with you.
You'd see those two guys coming out of the alley. Were they pretty intimidating?
Oh, no, not at all. In fact, I let them know that I saw them in my own way. And how I did that, because I'm always watching, right? I'm hyper alert. So I had made my trip into town. I was exercising. I was walking back home, and I saw they popped out of the alley. And they were dressed. And they dressed this way on purpose to see if I would notice them. This wouldn't have worked if I had been on my home stretch. Of course, I would have seen them. They would be the only ones there, right? They purposely picked this spot because it was in the busy downtown area, right? Lots going on. Yeah, busy for our hometown. It's a real small town, right? And they pop out of the alley and they're dressed in exactly the same real buff dudes. Look like Spec War to me, right? Special operations dudes. I'm guessing. I don't know. They both had black T-shirts. And on must have been their right breast was the color of my favorite color, green, right here on their chest. And I was about 50 yards away, and I immediately, as soon as I saw them, I checked both ways across, and I ran across the road. So, and I was watching, right? I was watching the must have been the boss. And I don't know how I heard him. It was 50 yards, if not better, 60 yards, right around that area, far away. And I heard him. Either that or I read his lips. He said, and he said this surprised. He was like, he's already seen this. Let's go. Just like that. And by the time I turned back around, they were gone. They went back in the alley and they left.
They were scared of you. I bet you gave him a little bit of a bicep flex and maybe showed him a little.
It happened down at the golf course recently too. My wife and I were down there eating, and I turn around. There's two gentlemen sitting there, and they look familiar to me. I could tell by their demeanor, right? They were there to watch me, and one of them was like looking directly at me, and pretty much the whole time. In very smart looking, accomplished looking gentlemen, right? Like these were not just average people. They were there for a purpose. And I go to the golf course all the time. I had never seen them there before. They weren't golfers, real small town, right? And I told my wife, hey, Kimberly, I think I know who these guys are. Here's what I want you to do. I want to gauge their reaction. So I had her leave ahead of me, and then she went to the car, and then I purposely walked right past them. I said, hi, gentlemen. And I purposely touched with my elbow. I just barely touched his jacket as I walked by because it was important. I had to physically touch him, right? I was going to give him a hitchhiker to take home with him, right? And as soon as I touched him, he went like that. He looked at me. Yeah, he knew what I was doing. And I wish him the best. Good luck.
Why do you think after so much time that they're still following you?
I like it. No, please keep doing it. Because, and I know that sounds weird, but I've felt from day one, Dave, that I am doing exactly what my government wants me to do.
Which is?
Help. God, this is hard to say. Because I never asked for this, man. But I kind of assume it to be my role to get us ready for what's about to happen. If not me, who? And I think they're kind of relying on me to do exactly what I'm doing right now. To get people ready for what is going to happen. And everyone's wondering, okay, what is that? And my greatest fear in all of this, and I know there's people out there that don't agree with me, and that's fine. And I won't mention any names, but I think there is going to be an anthological shock. As shocked as I was, man, I ended up in the damn wilderness. And I was at the top of my game in the Navy, right? And all of a sudden I'm out in the wilderness hunting for gold, having quit a sweet-ass Department of Defense job, saying, screw it, no one's going to listen to me. And I end up in the wilderness here, hometown, looking for gold of all things at a family mining claim 100 years old. And, I found it. Boy, howdy did I. This thing changes you. I should say that it changes some of us. It changes all of us, but not in the same way and to different degrees. For whatever reason, it changed me greatly. Yeah. And they've been noticing more and more that some people are affected. All of a sudden you have new ambitions, you have new obsessions, you have new abilities. Believe it or not. And the talents like Dirty Fife is doing right now. All of a sudden you can draw and paint out of the blue. You have the aptitude to start playing piano out of the blue. You can start to sing. All of a sudden, all these gifts and talents out of the freaking blue, man. You have an aptitude for math and physics and science. Out of the blue. And I'm telling you, if you're not expecting that, And all of a sudden you are, let me give you an example. You are a well-established veterinarian. In fact, you've been on shows, you're real famous, whatever, right? And all of a sudden one day you have an experience and now you want to be a chef. I got to tell you, Dave, everyone around you is going to look like you. They're going to look at you and say, oh my God, she went crazy. That's what you're left with. But it's such an overpowering experience. It's such an overpowering feeling that you can't help but not do it. It can be that. It can be that. And I'm only guessing what I think is happening. And oh, by the way, you don't have to be close. This isn't a local effect. We were talking about that earlier. This could happen across the universe because of entanglement, right? What I think is happening is deep inside our frontal lobes in our brains, we have a little, I almost said device, a little area in our brain called the basal ganglia. And what it does, it's a controller for all of our nerves in our body. It's like the central processing unit, if you will. And I think that little puppy's getting tuned up. There's a certain vibration that can happen. And if it does in just the right way, it suddenly uncovers stuff that was within you anyway. You just didn't know about it. And that's where it's not magic. Your skills didn't come out from heaven or from hell or whatever. They were already inside of you. They just hadn't surfaced yet. And that's what I think's happening.
Wow.
Now, I would like to also talk about another thing. And I've kind of shared my idea with some other, and again, I'm not going to mention names, okay? But trust me on this. I've mentioned my theories to some of the top theoretical physicists on our planet, and not a single one of them has laughed at me yet. And in fact, at least, I won't even say a number. Let's just say more than one has said, yeah, Kevin, you might be onto something here. And this is basically the way it goes. It's my theory is based on mathematical inference. It's a philosophy issue because all math derives from philosophy, right? A plus B equals C is basically, and that's what starts as a philosophy and turns into math statistics, right? Let me ask you something. Was the Big Bang intentional or unintentional? I don't know. So I have to assign it 50-50 because I don't know. And Dave, if you can tell me no, Kev, it's actually 49-51. Then I'll shut up right now.
I'm a creationist, man, so I don't know what I believe when it comes to the Big Bang.
Let me finish my thought. Okay, so if you agree with me, 50-50 because we don't know what else to do with that question, right? Okay,
Sure.
so if we go on the premise, that's actually a powerful thing because that means there's a 50% chance it was intentional by definition, right? Okay, let's go with that. If the Big Bang was intentional, what happened to the intender? Did the intender survive the Big Bang, or did the intender commit a cosmic suicide instead? Again, I don't know. So I have to assign it 50-50. I don't know. Okay, so let's one more step. If the Big Bang was intentional and if the intender did survive it, in what form did the intender of the Big Bang that survived the Big Bang, in what form now? Is it benign or is it an active force in the universe? 50-50. I don't know. I'm going with it's an active force just for sake of argument here, right? So you can understand my point.
Sure.
Active force. We know there's 4 active forces, fundamental forces, right? We've got gravity, we've got weak nuclear force, we got strong nuclear force, and we have electromagnetism. I strongly believe there's a 5th fundamental force called intention. And by definition, if I'm correct, it has to be the grandmother fundamental force of the universe because it was the first one. Now think about this. If I'm right, and intention is a physics, it sure as hell does answer a lot of questions about the behavior of these craft, doesn't it? Because I have to tell you, Dave, these objects that we intercepted in 2004, that was nanotechnology imbued with consciousness and intention. These things behave precisely like they were alive. They were living craft, if you can believe that. They were alive for all practical intents. It was living AI for all practical intent. It was the actual physical objects. And actual, if I'm right about the physics of intention, this is a physics like you can engineer stuff from it, just like you can the fundamental force of gravity, the fundamental forces of electromagnetism. You can make stuff from intention, the physics of intention. Don't ask me how, I don't know. I'm just giving you my idea. And I've thought long and hard about this, and I have yet to have any astrophysicist or quantum physicist laugh at me. How can they? I haven't made any assumptions. I just went through I used inference, yes or no. Either I'm right or I'm wrong. And that was 3 steps of inference, right? 50-50, 50-50, 50-50. If you add them all up, you have 1.5, right? Divide by 3 at the end, you got 50%. So at the end of the day, there's a 50% chance I'm correct. And that's pretty damn powerful. How many other theories have you heard that have a, by definition have a 50% chance of being right? Well, you just heard one.
Kevin, what do you think is coming in the future? What are we preparing for?
We are preparing for the shock of our lives. Think about this, Dave. I'm a non-religious person. And a lot of that is a result of having been in the military and not having the benefit to be able to pick sides. You know, I followed the orders of my president, and I served with a lot of people of different races, different nationalities, different customs, different religions. And I was never smart enough to pick a religion. And sir, do you know there's 2,600 religions on this planet right now? 2,600 religions. And the way I kind of look at it, you blow it up in a big wall chart, stick it on your wall, pick your finest favorite dart that's the sharpest one you got, put on the blindfold and toss it at the wall. And where that puppy sticks, do that religious dealio. That's kind of how people get their religion. They get it from their mommies or they get it from their culture. It's kind of given to them instead of them picking it. Well, it wasn't really given to me, and I'm not smart enough to pick it. My dull ass dart fell completely off the wall. And the reason why I kind of bring that up is context, because what I see happening in the world right now with the wars in the Middle East, and again, I'm not gonna say who's right, who's wrong, or none of that. Not my role. But I firmly believe that if people can get that upset about their religion, just what do you think's going to happen when Mr. NHI comes down here and tells them they're full of shit? There ain't no such thing as self-proclaimed prophets. Only in your mind. There ain't no such thing as X, Y, and Z. Only in your own mind. How do you think that's going to go down? You think religions are prepared for that? All you have to do is turn on the TV, and you'll see that I don't think they're really prepared for it. They're killing each other over it again, unless I'm not seeing this correctly. And I also, if I could take that one step farther, I think what we're seeing right now is directly related to UAP. And no one's just seeing that yet. We're already starting to see ontological shock played out. It's not going to go down well. So I'm going to do everything I can, speaking out or whatever, shows just like this. At least some of us will be ready.
It's pretty powerful words there, Kev, because I don't think in the long run humanity at all is ready for any sort of alien contact. That's my opinion.
I hope I'm wrong. I wouldn't be more happy to be wrong on this one. I hope others more learned than me are correct about this, to be honest with you. And again, I won't mention any names.
No, I understand that, but
Yeah.
since the Nimitz incident, we have seen a number of people come out, and I've in the first hour kind of mentioned the word whistleblower. What do you think of people then like David Grush, who are trying to open up the eyes to everybody?
Got my respect. You realize that, wow. And Commander Fravor, same way, David Fravor, both of them, I got my respect, for having the wherewithal to do this. For me personally, I'd forgotten all about it. And a lot of people have heard this story. I came home, I ended up in the wilderness. No one would believe me. And that's another fascinating story, by the way, which NASA has gotten a hold of my research, and that's a whole nother story, that whole fascinating thing. But anyway, 10 years went by. I was volunteering at the golf course, and I was carrying out a plate of food. Hey, Bob. Was going to deliver a plate of tacos, if I remember right. We were watching the golf tournament. All of a sudden, CNN's breaking. I see the video that I hadn't seen since 2004. And, dude, I was shocked. I had forgotten all about this. I went on in life. And I was thinking to myself, oh, my freaking God. Because at that moment, I was the only one on the planet that had evidence. I had smoking gun evidence that it really happened. So I went home in a panic. I had to act. I knew it. And you know what that evidence was? I had done something back in 2009. And I'm really, really glad I did it. And this is how I did it, Dave. People talk about time travel, right?
Yes.
Well, there's a type of time travel you can do right now. And this is how you do it. This really works well when you're upset. Make yourself stop. And I get a little notional person on my shoulder says, stop, Kevin. If you could do this all over again, if you had this moment to do all over again, what would you do differently? And I think about that. And the answer comes to me, and I tend to do it, or at least think about doing it in the moment instead of waiting. I do it then instead of doing something stupid usually. So that was really powerful for me in 2009 because no one would believe me. And I was thinking, well, what can I do to prove this? And then an idea occurred to me because, I was an operations specialist and we log everything. We have logbooks going up the wazoo, right? Because if it ain't logged, it didn't happen. That's our rule of thumb, right?
Right.
So what I did is I'm a writer. I wrote a short story called The Seer, and it's a fictionalized account from A to Z of the Tic Tac encounter, and I published that baby in the Library of Congress in 2009, February. I got my library control number and everything.
Beautiful.
Just in case the story ever became public, my book would become smoking gun evidence that it really happened. And that's exactly what happened. You can't deny the reality of my book published in the Library of Congress unless I have a time machine. And it even says Tic Tac in it. It has all the names of the ships in it. The only thing that's different is the name of the players to protect them. And instead of 2004, I said 2005. I fictionalized it to protect people. But the story is the same. If anyone out there has read it, you'll see that. I mean, was it brilliant? Yeah. It was a stroke of brilliance. I say that humbly, but it was. I mean, think about it.
Kevin, I'm going to get our audience some time to think about that right now as we complete hour number 1 of Spaced Out Radio with former radar operator on the USS Princeton, Kevin Day. If there's ever an expert in finding Tic Tacs, this guy has, but it's not in the supermarket either. Coming up next, with Kevin. We're going to find out if the aliens went away on Spaced Out Radio. All right, buddy, we are clear. Let's see what Dirty Filth finished up here with us.
I got something to show you too.
It's
Can you see
Skinny
my
Bob.
screen?
Not yet, Kev.
Okay, I'll hold it.
Okay, Dirty. What do we got here? Where looks like at a Russian bar this time.
He's in the interrogation room with Skinny Bob. And he
Oh,
says
that's cool.
he enjoys the sushki and piroshki. And then he's burping.
Nice. Very nice.
I probably
job,
butchered
yes,
the writing there.
It's perfect. Every Ukrainian can figure that out. What do you got for us, Kev?
Well, let me show you. I am working on a book deal. And again, I'm not going to say any names or anything, but it's possible I might be writing. My proposal is 3 more books and the republished Sailors Anthology. Can you see my screen?
No, you have to pass it.
Send it via.
Go down to settings below. You'll see a bar there.
Okay, on it. Give me a couple minutes here.
Okay, I gotta dip out, Dave.
Present. Okay, see you, Filth.
Yeah.
Have a good day, Mr. Date.
Okay, I'm on settings. Mirror my camera. Touch my approach.
Sorry, not settings. Present or present.
Okay, I see camera, audio, virtual background.
Yeah, out of settings. Go down to that bar again on the bottom.
Okay.
On the bottom, you'll see settings and then present right beside it.
Okay, yeah.
So if you present that, then it'll show the page.
So share screen, slides, or video file?
Yeah, share screen.
There you go. Here we go. All right, here we are.
I am not seeing it. Weird. Okay. Do you see is it on your screen on the bottom? So it says Dave Scott, Kevin Day, Dirty Filth, and then another window open there?
Let's see. Oh, let's see.
Oh, there go the sirens. Somebody's had an accident. There we go, Kev.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, I got it up on the big screen.
Hyperlink?
Yeah.
Okay, hyperlink yourself into space. Is that what you're seeing?
No, seeing like some sort of profile of you here.
Nah. Gosh dang it. I should have sent this to you. What if I send it real quick on Messenger?
Yeah, do that.
Okay. Hold on.
You do that. I'm just gonna take a quick break here for a bathroom break, okay?
You got it.
Okay, I'm just gonna put you in the green room here. Be right back, guys. All right, Kev, bring you back here.
Check your email. I sent it via email.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got it here. You want me to bring this up?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We're just going to have to describe it well for our radio audience, okay?
You got it.
All right, perfect. Thank you to W. Decker, T-Bone, Catherine, Mama Catherine, that is, Mennonite Abe and Android for the super chats. Here we go with the second hour, everybody.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 on Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us. We very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Qualimeter. Qualimeter is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon in the SOR Space Travelers Club. We say hello to Kevin Day from the USS Nimitz incident of 2004 with the Tic Tacs. He is breaking on down tonight everything that is going on in the world today. And Kevin, thank you so much for being with us, talking this ever important topic.
My honor, Dave, and welcome to hour 2, everyone listening. I hope I have some breaking news for you guys. And gals listening. I kind of want to get your everyone's feedback and idea I have. And essentially what happened, Dave, is out of the blue, I was contacted. A member of the team was contacted. And I'm not going to mention names, okay? Because it's, I don't do that anyway. And it's such a premature idea right now. But anyway, there's a really good chance I'll be writing some more books. Probably my proposal is 3 more books. And the whole idea for me is, of course, the publisher, of course, and my agent and everyone, they'll make money on it. And that's what I want. But for me personally, that's not what I want. I don't want in fact, if and when I get money for this, the most of it's going to research. That's what I want to do. I want to put it all back into UAP and space research because they're definitely related. And so the question is, I'm kind of I'm not a real famous writer. So in order to help us generate some actual money from this, I thought of a kind of a novel idea to market some books. And this is kind of how it works. I notice you have my slide up here, if everyone can see it.
Our radio, we're going to have to break it down for our radio audience here.
I'm going to do it right now. Let's say someone buys the book and the buyer's name goes into a database, which is there on the left in the blue looking barrel thing. And that for those who want to participate, right before the space, and by the way, I have the space crew that's going to do this. We've talked and they want to do it. I mean, this isn't just a pipe dream here. It's really happening. Okay. Just so you know, access to a spaceship, believe it or not. So anyways, what's going to happen is everyone that wants to do it right before launch, their names get transmitted to the space module. They 2D print it on board the space module, and they put it back in the back of the book in its reserved spot in the back of the book. So now there's a QR code in the back of the book that goes around the moon. And the cool thing about that, if the book makes it back from the moon, it's going to be a historic book, obviously. The first public novel around the moon. And the cool thing is that QR code in the back is everyone's name is now 2,000 years from now, for example, is their personage is associated with that first human feet. I think that's pretty cool. And not only their name, but they can do a little brag out who they are, you know. This is my little spiel. This is who I was 2,000 years ago. And not only that, we're going to, the idea is to 3D print it into something harder. We don't know what yet. And then punch that into orbit, into space. And 2.7 million years from now, that little thing in space is found out there, and somebody 2.7 or something 2.7 million years from now finds it. And now your name is known millions of years from now. Wow.
That's amazing.
Right? I think even if I'm a shitty writer, that's going to sell some books, isn't it?
Oh, why not? Why not, my man?
I mean, tell me what you think. Is it a good idea or not?
I would love for my name to be way out there in space.
Right.
I'd
I'd buy my own damn book for that, you know.
Oh, for sure. For sure, you have to.
Especially
you
when
absolutely have to.
Well, I won't say prices because that's going to be up to the publisher. But yeah, it's affordable. It's a book, you know.
Very true.
Not going to cost $1 million, you know. We're talking about a paperback book here, or maybe a hard copy or a Kindle book, you know. So that's kind of that's one of my breaking news stories. But anyway, I kind of want. Hopefully, I'll get people's feedback on the idea because I don't want to waste a lot of time for something that's probably not going to work. But it's just an idea I had. You know, I want to generate some funds for research because I think we're pretty close to cracking the code here on a couple of things. I really do.
Kevin, I want to ask you, this might be a little bit of a difficult question for you. And if it is, I apologize. But for you, ever since that incident happened in 2004, have you become an experiencer?
Have I seen follow-on things?
Yes.
In terms of actual UAP craft, no. But in terms of prescient events, I seem to have the ability to remote view. Sounds crazy as hell, but I have documented proof of it, in the moment proof of it, to the point where when I sent it to some people, they came back with wow. Because what I had said was going to happen happened within the days later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it happens out of the blue. And it's not something I initiate ever. In fact, I'm afraid to initiate remote viewing. It's not, I don't want to do it. I don't need to. So I've practiced being aware. And if you open your eyes, I'll give you one example. And Kim and I started noticing this here in the house, right? And it's something so simple. I found like I'll be working outside and I'll say, shit, I need a screwdriver. So I'll run in the house to grab a screwdriver. And I'll go past the digital clock and it says 444, for example. Or I'll come back later in the evening and I'll walk past it says 757, for example. Or I'll come back, it says 1111, for example. Or 222. Or 1212 or 1212 or whatever. Matronic numbers. I used to call them repeating numbers, but they're not. They're repeating to me because it happens over and over and over and over and over and over where I can't ignore it anymore. And I finally figured out that what that is, it's a sign that I'm on the right track. Keep going. It's just a subtle sign. I'm on the right track. That's all it is. So
have you had any extraterrestrial contact since?
No. I've only had Kim and I were sitting out on the porch during the summer, and this isn't a real big area where we get a lot of jet aircraft. But we did see one. We saw one going that was way lower than it should have been. going right over the top of the foothills over here to our east. And we were watching. It was like the middle of the summer, like really hot out and really dry. And I saw something come out. I was like, oh my God, they just didn't launch a flare out of there. They're going to start the damn forest on fire. And I was like, whoa, no way. You know, I was like, what the hell? What, you know, I was like beside myself in angst. I was like, no way, they can't do that. And before we knew it, that thing took off, gone. And when I mean gone, it zorched like out into outer space, gone. That's the only thing I've seen. What it was, I don't know. But that's the only thing I've never, in my whole life, I've never seen an extraterrestrial, no. For anything like that, no. But I have had a lot of prescient experiences, yes. In that note, and I can do stuff now I wasn't able. And this sounds crazy as hell, but I have aptitudes and abilities I didn't have before.
Do you think that comes from them?
I do. Huh?
Do you think that comes from them?
I have no question in my mind it did. Nope. No question at all. I believe that, to put it in the way, and I don't think Dr. Jack Sarfati would be mad that I threw his name out there, but to directly quote him, if I could, he told me point blank, he said, Kevin, there is absolutely no doubt that you are a contactee of the Tic Tac intelligence. That's what he told me. So take that for what it's worth. Why he thinks that or whatever, you know, and of course, you know who he is. I mean,
yeah.
He's a confidant of mine. He's kind of adopted me, and I consider him a close friend, and I have the honor and privilege of being able to talk to him, and I do, you know, from time to time. I try not to bug him too much because he's really, really busy. Him and others, you know.
Do you feel?
Go ahead.
Do you feel then that you are more understanding of people who have had the most extraordinary experiences than, say, is being led on by people within the government who are still trying to cover this up?
Wow, that's a really tough question for me to answer. You know why? Because having come from that world, Dave, I'm not a conspiracy theorist kind of guy, not at all. I think by and large, the people that run our government are good people. I know it sounds crazy in this day and age for someone to actually say that, but that's how I feel, man. They're just like us. They have families and they go to church and they have kids in school, and some of them are your neighbors. And generally speaking, I think they're good people, and they're trying to do the right thing. But what the hell would you do if you had the task of protecting us, and you had the task of preventing some potentially fearsome technology to get in the hands of some evil people? And I won't mention any names, but you know who they are as well as I do. Then, you know, I mean, you're going to do what you have to do to protect us, kind of, aren't you? But my beef about that whole philosophy is they could have done that without destroying public servants in the process. At least I think. I was a lucky one, man. I ended up in the friggin' wilderness. No, like I was cast aside. And that's what it felt like. And I'm not crying here. If I'm crying, it's for the people who didn't get lucky. This is what makes me mad. They lost everything. They can't even see their kids anymore. That makes me mad.
I can understand that. I can totally feel exactly what you're saying. I mean, there's been a lot of people over the decades ruined over this topic. lives ruined, and it's not just military people, it's civilians who have come out to try and say, why is this happening to me? It's people in the know that have tried to come out to expose this story. And it's one of the
Yeah, and
largest
their
stories.
family, and now all of a sudden their family disowns them, or their closest colleagues. And you can't blame them, because you were a famous veterinarian and all of a sudden you want to be a chef or a concert pianist out of the friggin' blue, and you seem to be obsessed with it. And no one understands, man. They're scratching their heads thinking you went insane. And if you're the person experiencing it, you're questioning it yourself. Have I gone crazy? No, quite the opposite. You have been upgraded. If you can understand it that way, you go with it, man. Go ahead and pick up the paintbrush.
What do you want out of the United States government regarding disclosure?
I want them to support citizen research efforts. And let's come together as a team here. The government doesn't have to do it all. In fact, I think it's better if people like us do it, because we don't have to worry about classifications as much. Stuff we find out isn't locked behind closed doors as much. And therefore we can do things they aren't able to do as much, because we don't have to face the voters like they do. In other words, if we can do some of the dirty work for them, they don't have to do it, then I think, yeah, there's a serendipity here. If we can all just come together and get on the same page here a little bit, that's what I want. Don't work against me.
Do you believe these aliens or whatever they are a threat?
No, I do not.
You said that very fast.
Do not. Absolutely do not. Nope.
Why?
We'd have been dead, I'm guessing, 4,811 years ago. They'd have smoked us a long time ago if they wanted to, if they were a threat. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. In fact, the reason why I think they hadn't come here in fact, they tried it and it didn't go so well on planet Earth. And so the reason why they haven't landed on the White House lawn, so to speak, is because they don't want to see us all go crazy from the ontological shock. The reason why they haven't come here is because they love us. And they want to protect us so we don't go crazy and blow ourselves up as a result. That's what I think. And the reason why I think that is because it goes back to my basic theory about the Big Bang and intention. And I'm glad you brought it up, because it goes to my theory of why they're even here. Okay, if I'm right and they don't want us to go crazy, then why are they here anyway? I mean, why are they coming here? And it goes back to my idea about the Big Bang, and the theory of intention, the intender, if you will, call it what you want. And if you really think about this, and the fact these things are going down into the ocean, right? Why in the hell would they be going down into the ocean? That's a good question. Let me back up for some context here. How we doing on time? It's 10:24. We know that our DNA is built out of a lattice structure, right? It's 50% sugars, glucose, and it's 50% phosphates, right? And so it's prebiotics, right? So where is the purest source of phosphate found? In hydrothermal vents on the bottom of the ocean. So what I think they are doing is they're coming here and they're going down to our hydrothermal vents, which is pretty damn rare in the universe if you think about it, because in order to have a hydrothermal vent at the bottom of the ocean, number one, you have to have an ocean, a salty sea with hydrothermal activities. And it has to be in the Goldilocks zone, and on and on and on. It has to be an Earth out there, right? So what I think they're doing is they're coming here. We are a nursery in the universe, and we aren't the only one. And they come down and they get, for better lack of words, they get seed pods, if you will, and they take them out and they take them out there to suitable host planets, and they just leave them there. And maybe in 1 billion years, a single photon will hit it just right on some kind of inclined crystal, and it hits it and it forms the DNA. And then chemistry does its thing, and then because it's pretty simple. You got your physics and your math, and you got your chemistry, then you get your biology. That's kind of how it works, right? So, and we know that a single photon can generate photosynthesis. It's just been proven, 2 months ago? A single photon can spark photogenesis. And I also think that a single photon, once in a while, can spark the formation of DNA. And if that DNA happens to be formed in a Goldilocks zone planet, then the biology is going to happen. So what I think is happening is they're coming to nurseries like Earth. They're taking these seed pods out and they're putting them on suitable host planets for something I call stellar transpermia. Their whole mission, prime directive, if you will, these NHI, these UAP craft, is to spread life in the universe. That's why they're coming here. And there's two breeds of these things. They both breeds love us, or we'd have been dead 4,811 years ago. But one breed of them is more bent around the axle to get the mission done than the other breed. One's more compassionate, and the other one's a little less nice about it. In other words, we better not shoot missiles at them because they're going to protect themselves. Even you would, if your own family member is trying to kill you, you're going to defend yourself, right? They're the same way. But the objects that we tracked in 2004, they were the benevolent kind. I'm pretty sure of it. Just the feeling I had.
What do you then, before we're a couple minutes away before we got to go to break here, and when we come back from the break, I do want to take some audience questions for you. But what do you think then, in a minute or less, Kevin, about the idea that all we've heard about is these threat narratives going on about these craft, from Tom DeLonge on down to all the politicians talking about these threat narratives from these UAPs? I mean, that goes against the grain of what you're saying.
And they could be right. I could be wrong. I accept that. I don't think I am either. I don't think but there again, I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm just one person's opinion here. But I think that the threat is us. It ain't them. The UAP ain't going to kill us. It's humans that are going to kill humans because of the UAP, because we can't handle the truth. That's the threat. So if they're talking about a threat, I think they're hoping they're talking about it in the right terms. Because if the dudes up in the sky wanted us dead, we'd have been dead 4,811 years ago.
I agree with you, Kevin. I'm going to get you to hold on there. When we return, we are going to get to some audience questions and learn more about the disclosure process from Kevin Day, eyewitness on the USS Princeton to the 2004 Tic Tac incident. What a great night of radio tonight we have with Mr. Kevin Day. He truly is an American patriot and hero and deserves to be treated as such. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. Looking good, my man. Looking good.
Fun, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm having a blast. Oh, is Kimberly there?
Yeah, she's in the other room keeping it quiet for us. We got dogs and stuff that come in here and bug me.
Well, make sure you give her a wave and a hug from all of us.
I will definitely do that as soon as I'm out of here.
Yeah, perfect. So
I was so blessed for her to come into my life. I can't even tell you. We just had our 2-year anniversary. Woohoo!
Nice.
2 nights ago.
Yep. Congrats. That's
And,
awesome news.
and Dave, I passed my 2 years sobriety too. I haven't drank in 2 years.
Good for you. You right on.
Yep.
Right on. That's impressive.
Thank God I wasn't drinking long anyway. For me, it'd only been a couple years, but I was definitely headed down the wrong path. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I remember you talking to me about that one day. Right on.
And you can do it. Anyone's listening, if they're thinking about doing it, just try. Give it a go. Yeah, because
it's beautiful.
And one thing Kim taught me about, I'm a lot healthier than I was not so long ago. And she told me one thing about drinking I didn't realize before. She said, Kevin, you don't understand. It's not the beer that's making you fat. It's the actual alcohol itself. And she was right. It's not the grain and the hops or any of that stuff. That's just food, right? It's the actual alcohol will make you fat. It's because it's sugar. Think about it.
Oh, yeah. I'm on a crash course right now, buddy. Right now.
Yep.
Day 2.
Be patient.
I'm on day 2.
Yeah, be patient. I started by walking. Yeah, just walk. It's really good for you. And stretching. Yeah, walk and stretch. Start eating right. Consistently.
That is the key.
Yep.
That is the key. And I don't eat a lot of junk food. I really don't. The thing that gets me is my 2 addictions. I love Pepsi. And I love what we call these Tim Hortons ice caps.
The what?
And it's like it's like a slushy cappuccino.
Okay.
And I've had to give up those cold turkey. I haven't had a choice. And I think that's why my blood pressure is high today. But
yep. Your body's rebelling. Like,
yeah.
I want my slushy.
I can tell you this though. I don't care what diet I'm on. I will not give up bacon, and I will never give up Taco Bell. Ever.
So with bacon, right? I eat it every morning for breakfast.
Good.
Breakfast is Kim and I's biggest meal in the day. We have a nice breakfast every morning, and then we have a decent dinner, and that's pretty much it for us. We don't eat a lot of junk food. Once in a while. Literally, Dave, we could have a bag of Doritos in the kitchen. It might sit there for a month and a half. And I'm more likely to use it in cooking than I am to actually just eat it. Crunch them up, use it for coating or something. Cooking is we both like to cook. We spend time, a lot of care and preparation in the food.
Yeah, that's what I got to do.
Well, you will. Just the fact you want to will start.
Well, I got to go visit one of my buddies at his gym, and I got to get back going there 2-3 days a week.
Is it close enough to walk?
No, unfortunately, but
yeah.
But you know what? Even it's something I have to do. Something I have to do is get back in the gym. So, nothing I can do. So
you got some questions picked out? Or
who are you
going to call on? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've got a number of questions here already lit up for you, man. Yeah. So we got about 30 seconds. Big thank you to W. Decker, Mama Catherine, Mennonite Abe, Android, and T-Bone for the wonderful super chats. Very much appreciate the love and support, guys. Thank you very, very much. And we're going to get going here momentarily, so just sit tight, everyone. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. For the final time tonight, we say hello to Kevin Day. He was on the USS Nimitz, or on the Princeton, when the USS Nimitz had its encounter with the 2004 Tic Tac incident. Kevin, thank you so much for being here tonight. We very much appreciate it.
My honor and pleasure. I understand you have some questions for me. Yeah,
I do. We're going to start off with Simon in Australia here, who's asking, Kevin, why was the Nimitz footage released at all, do you think?
I think because specifically Lou Elizondo and Commander David Fravor had gotten together and kind of planned it out a little bit. And I think it was a planned release. Not so much by the government, but by them specifically. They wanted it to come out. And you know the story with Lou, he was all mad because no one would listen to him in the CIA. So he kind of did what I did, or I did what he did, or however you want to think about it. And I didn't know it at the time, but it turns out they had been working on this for some time before it was released. So yeah, it was a planned release. It wasn't just a spur of the moment decision, that I know. No, it was deliberate and it was thought out.
What was your thoughts when it came out?
I literally, when I got home, I got down on my knees and I thanked God, and I'm not religious, and I was in tears. I felt vindicated.
Right on. Right on. All right, let's go to a different question. Kim in San Francisco is asking, what do you think is going to happen if aliens come down and introduce themselves?
I know what I want to say, but honestly, if it happened right now, this moment, I don't think we're ready. Just turn on CNN right now and look what's happening in the Middle East. I mean, what do you think is going to happen when you're suddenly realize that your self-proclaimed prophet isn't really? I hate to even go there, because yeah, I mean, because I don't know, you know, I'm not some know-it-all and a guru on religions and that stuff. I can only tell you what I think. And people have their faiths and they're important, you know. Faiths do a lot, you know, religion does a lot for people. It's important in society. I know that. And that's my concern, man, because to answer the question, if that is challenged out of the blue, I don't think it's going to sit well.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you there. I totally hear you there. And, you know, like I've stated on this show, I worry about other things. The economy, what happens to people who are depressed and anxious, scared, what happens to them? You know, and I think we could see a little bit of the worst of humanity from the people who are not prepared for this. Let's go to a follow-up from Kim. Kevin, do you have any reason to believe we are on the verge of disruption?
I guess it's not specific enough for me to really provide a detailed answer, because I'm not sure what he means by disruption. Now, if he had said, or she had said disclosure, I could probably answer that a little bit better than disruption, because I think every moment of every day of every year of every month of every week is a moment of disruption. You're always going to have disruption, and it's part of the equation. So we have reason. We not only on the verge of disruption, it's a constant fact of life, and it was 4,811 years ago too. So now, if the question was, are we on the verge of disclosure? I think we are seeing it. So yeah, the answer is yes, if that's what the question is. But it actually says disruption, and I'm not sure how to answer that.
Let's go to Jeremy's question here. How would David Fravor have any say on that video coming out?
Oh, that's an excellent question. That's a very, very good question. The reason why that video shocked me so badly is because the first time I had ever seen that video was the morning after the actual incident had happened. I was going back up to Combat Information Center, CIC, or combat that we called it. And one of my jobs, administrative duties, was to draft all the messages, air defense related, right? And either myself or my people would route it up to the captain for release or not. So I was doing that. I went up to CIC. I was going to write an after action report that summarized everything that had happened the previous day. And in order to do that, I had to have access to the data, right? It was on because I do this all the time. I go back and I look and put it together in something that makes sense. So I sat down, I was going to do it. And all of a sudden the lead computer technician comes up and sits me down. He says, Senior Chief, I got something I got to tell you, and you're not going to be happy. I said, what's going on? And he was pretty concerned. I said, it's okay, man. Just tell me. It's all right. He says, he was like, did you hear flight quarters last night? I said, yeah, I was in my rack trying to get some sleep when it came. I said, why? What's going on? He said, well, some people came on board the ship and they took all of our data. And I was like, because that's not supposed to happen. Remember, I told you if it ain't logged, it didn't happen.
Right.
Well, that is illegal, I thought. And not only did they take it, according to him, he said they also had me erase all of my blank tapes. So, yeah, so when that happened, I was like, immediately I wasn't able to write my message, so it never got written. But remind me of that question. I'm kind of lost my train of thought, to be honest with you.
No problem, Kevin. That question is
okay. The video coming out. Yeah, the video coming out. So basically, the last time I saw that actual video, that was actually from the crew in the of course the airplane, right? One of the flights, and it was getting kicked around in the strike group then. And this was, and oh, by the way, I'd spent 18 and I'd been on assigned to 6 different ships by then, 3 Aegis cruisers and 3 aircraft carriers. And I'd made 8 Western Pacific deployments, a lot of sea time, 18 and a half years at sea, right? This was my last time on a ship underway ever. Well, I was active duty. In 2 more weeks, we're going to pull into port. I was going to transfer to work for the Admiral for about a couple years and retire, go to work at DOD. That's what I did. So anyway, the video was getting kicked around. We all had it, and I transferred and forgot all about it. But apparently someone had kept it. I don't know who. So yeah, Commander Forever had access to answer the question. He had, for all practical intents, that was his video. So that's how he had to say in it. I mean, not sure how that all transpired, but yeah, he definitely had a say in it. It was his. I'm not sure how he could, it was on a secret system. So I don't know how that happened, but I know I saw it. I left it on board the ship. There was no way I was taking it, because that's something I never do.
Simon is asking, who are they who confiscated the logs? Who do you think? Who does Kevin, you think, are above the U.S. government?
I had the computer tech describe for me what they look like, and he, if my memory serves me clearly on this, he says he suspected they were Air Force officers, but they were dressed as civilians. If I remember clearly on this, I think they were contractors working for the government. I don't think they were military. I think they were contractors. And they had clearance to do it, obviously.
All right, let's go to.
I'll probably never know. They no one told us. We were all left there to twist in the wind. They never gave us any answers.
Yeah. Supernova wants to know, Kevin, have you ever experienced missing time?
Wow. Yeah. But it has to do more with my medical condition than I think having to do anything with UAP, although they might be related. About 4 years ago, I had a grand mal seizure, my first one. Ended up in the hospital and woke up in the hospital, and of course was wondering, well, hell in the frick did I get here? And then, of course, the doctor was right there. She was like, "It's okay, Kev. You had a seizure. You're all right. You're in a safe place." Then I had a second one, and thank God now today all I really have is petite mal seizures. For those listening, if you're familiar with that, I'll be sitting here, and I don't have them that much anymore because I'm on medication, and it's made a night and day difference. I'm able to function normally now. But when I was having them, I would just kind of zonk out for, say, a minute, and I would come back to, and Kimberly would, once she became conscious of it, she would tell me, "Hey, you just had a seizure." And when it first started to happen, I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because for me, I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't go anywhere. But yeah, I've had missing time. Yeah, but it was having to do with seizures, I think, not anything to do with UAP. I think where that question was going was really directed at somewhere else, because there's people that do have missing time, like they'll be driving to the store, for example, and all of a sudden they're gone. And they come back and all of a sudden they're in the kitchen at the house, that type of stuff. That's never happened to me. Nope.
All right, let's move on, Kev. Let's go over to Simon. Why would the footage be released if they mostly destroy people who talk about it?
Because it's different. It's different days. There's in that sentence, there's the first use of the word they, and then I guess there's just one they, but it has to do, the people who released the video are a different they than the people who are trying to protect the video from coming out, if you will. And it's complex. This is baffling and complex, and there's no clear answers. And I certainly don't have all of them. So it's a valid question, and I don't have good answers. I don't know. I mean, it's a real good question. I wish I had a better answer.
That's okay. Let's go to Kevin. Were there ever any reports of aliens on the ships themselves?
No.
That would have complicated things.
Yeah. Their gag lines would probably be all off. So their gag lines.
Well, when the pilots were flying, Okay, whether it was David Fravor or many others who you had up there, did they see any of the pilots?
I didn't understand the question.
Did when they intercepted the Tic Tacs,
Okay.
did they see any of the pilots?
Did the Tic Tac see the pilots?
No, did the pilots see the other pilots of the Tic Tacs?
Oh, no. In fact, at one of the post decks, we came back to port. We had a after exercise meeting on at shore, and I pulled Commander Fravor aside. I was like, "Hey, sir, so what did they look like?" And he looked at me and said, "Senior Chief, believe it or not, they look like a big giant white Tic Tac candy." That was the first time I ever heard the word Tic Tac, by the way, and that's exactly why I use it in the book. He said, believe it or not, they were about 47 feet long, no doors, no windows, no planes, no ailerons, no thrusters, none. It just looked like a Tic Tac white candy. So the answer is no. It's not like you could look through the window and see a person in a top hat, suit, and tie inside the craft. No.
That makes sense. That makes very good sense. We got 7 minutes to go here before we have to go to break. At the top of the hour, Kevin Day is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Kevin, out of everything that you have had happen since this incident became public, do you wish at any point that you would get more vindication from the President of the United States or government officials that are looking into this, or other agencies coming up to you and saying you did well during the time that you had with that?
Man,
Do you need
that's a
that?
hard.
Do you
That's a hard
need
question. That's a hard question to answer. Of course, I would accept it, but I certainly don't require it. I think history will do that. I don't. It doesn't have to be in the present. I'm cool with that. I don't need the president to pat me on the back, even if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for that. As a matter of fact, and this kind of illustrates the point of it. I published Sailor's Anthology in February 2009. And it's been available on Amazon since February 2009, where I published it, right? And I checked sales, 2 weeks ago? And it has sold exactly 14 copies. And I think I bought most all of them. And the reason why I even published it on Amazon was so that I could order copies if I had to. It was my main reason. And the reason why it hasn't sold is because I never promoted it. It's not why I wrote the damn book. I didn't write that book, and I didn't get involved in this for money or for fame or for profit. It's not what I'm doing. Not my mission. Now, others that are helping me, like yourself and others that are helping me do this, hell yeah, I want to try to enable you guys to make some money out of this, because you do it for a living. Not my role here. I don't need a pat on the back from the president. I don't need to become a millionaire. I just want to get the world ready for what's about to happen. I know it sounds corny, but damn it, it's the truth.
Do you think
you can believe me or not? It's the damn truth.
Oh, I believe you, Kevin. You're somebody who has never had a reason to be spiteful or to taint the truth at any time during this incident. And I don't think anybody has ever accused you of grifting or doing this for money and fame. I mean,
I have offered through my attorney to give my military record and all my bank records over to an independent auditor. And they can look. I give them all my email too. They can look. And you know what they're going to discover? They're going to realize I'm telling the freaking truth. You wouldn't believe the struggles I've had.
Mm.
And I'm not crying, man. Not for myself. I was a lucky one. But there's been times I wasn't able to pay my electric bill. And it was hard because I knew all I had to do was pick up the cell phone and change that by trying to monetize this thing. And I never did, and I'm proud of it. Because I knew something about that. Because I knew if I ever tried to do that, whatever connection I have with this was going to disappear. Because in order to understand, in order to interpret the quantum signals, and again, I'll throw his name out there, Dr. Jack Sarfati is the one that schooled me in this. In order to properly interpret quantum signals, and that's what I'm getting here with the clocks and stuff, like I talked about earlier, you have to have the integrity of a warrior to use his terms. Another way to think about it, if you try to embellish this or try to profit from it, try to monetize it, you're not going to have that connection anymore. And I knew that intuitively for some reason. That's why I've always been dead set against. Now, I've gone to conferences, where I met you in San Francisco. And of course I accepted because I couldn't afford to do it. If they wanted me there, they had to pay for my way to get there and home. And of course but that's the extent of it. In other words, I've never gotten a check in the mailbox money out of it. And I never will. Not what I'm about.
And I think that shows your integrity as not only a human, but as someone who is passionate about the truth coming out of this situation. There's a lot of news that 2024 is going to be an important year right through 2027. Have you had discussions with people regarding that?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts?
I think we're seeing it. Yeah. I think that's why all this is happening. I think that's why we were contacted in 2004. Because that moment, if you peel the onion to its core on the present, what's going on presently, I think it all started in 2004, the current round of what's happening. And I think it was because 20 years later, this was going to happen.
Makes a lot of sense.
And you have to agree with me. Since that time, there is this. I mean, today I could go down to grocery outlet, be standing there in the small town, right? We know everyone. And it's not uncommon to hear people talking about UFOs and 3 lines over out in the public. No one's looking at them weird. Even 6 years ago, if you would have tried that, people would have looked like you've been smoking crack, right? You'd have been looked at like you're a bozo, but not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
I agree.
It's changed, man. And it's cool. It's beautiful because what you and I grew up with, stigmata. I was born in 1961. I grew up with that shit, right? Well, kids nowadays, they don't have to.
That's right. Kevin Day, thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio, my friend. We love you around here. Merry Christmas to you and your beautiful wife, Kimberly. And have a good one, my friend.
I will. Thank you.
Hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio is coming up next. Beautiful, my man. Beautiful.
How'd it go?
Thank you. Yeah, it was perfect. It was
right
perfect.
Right
I
on.
really appreciate you doing this, Kev. It's been too long.
Yeah, I know. Let's do it again.
Next year. Next year.
And by then, hopefully my books at least the first one will be out.
Well, we know how to get in touch with each other, my man.
You know the name of my first book?
What's that?
Tic Tac Redemption.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Everything we just talked about is going to be in my first book. The whole journey.
Love it. Love it.
Yep.
Well deserved. All right, Kev, we'll let you go here, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yep. Love you guys. Peace out.
Bye. All right, Kevin Day, everybody. I'll be right back, guys. All right. We got just over a minute to go here. Sweet Robbie G will be filling in for a traveling Courtney Marcassani. She's just coming back from an event in New York. By the way, have you checked out the new swag that we got at spacedoutradio.com? We got a bunch of Sweet Robbie G gear there. He's looking badass as an alien and as a Bigfoot. Go check it on out. We got great socks for you. We got a bunch of real cool stuff. Davey Crotch Kick, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you to W. Decker, Mama Catherine, Mennonite Abe, Android, T-Bone for the super chats. Very much appreciate it. We do not have ugly swag, people. We got stuff you're going to want to wear. Here we go. Hour 3.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us. We very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Please join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Qualimeter. Qualimeter is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. It is that time of the night where we say hello to Steve Stockton from Among the Missing for another creepy story.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Among the Missing YouTube channel on Spaced Out Radio. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'm about to take you on an unbelievable journey of people just like you. Their stories and encounters will haunt us on Among the Missing. Hat Man encounter. Here's what happened. One night, I was in bed and couldn't sleep. It felt kind of weird, you know? The room was super dark, and it was all quiet and spooky. And suddenly, I got this creepy feeling, like I wasn't alone. I peeked to the end of my bed, and guess what? There was this tall, shadowy figure in a big hat. Yep, the Hat Man. He looked pretty scary with that hat, making his face all shadowy. I got really, really scared. The Hat Man had this bad vibe, and it felt like the room was getting all stuffy. I tried to breathe, but it was hard. I kept telling myself it was just my imagination, but nope, the Hat Man stuck around, just standing there at the end of my bed. I could feel him looking at me, even though I couldn't see his face. And then the room got cold, and it felt like something heavy on my chest. It was like the Hat Man was taking all the air out of the room, and I couldn't breathe right. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't get my voice to work. It felt like forever that he just stayed there. I could tell he wasn't a nice person. He had this dark and mean feeling, almost demonic. I closed my eyes, hoping he'd be gone when I opened them. When I was finally brave enough to peek again, he was gone. But I still felt scared. It was all weird and made me think a lot. Whether it was just my mind playing tricks or something spooky, I couldn't forget about the Hat Man. It was like this strange thing that stuck with me. Thank you for letting me share my story. Signed, Anonymous. The Haunted Dairy Farm. There was a bunch of us, fueled by a mix of curiosity and some courage. We decided to check out this old farm that's been sitting there almost like a forgotten ghost town. Rolled up in our truck, parked a good distance away to avoid getting caught trespassing. Armed with flashlights and hopefully nerves of steel, we made our way through this creaky gate that sounded like it was straight out of a horror movie. The night was dark as sin, clouds hiding the moon, and the whole scene felt like something out of a Stephen King novel. As we approached these old barns, the smell hit us, a weird mix of damp hay and something sour that made my stomach turn. The air felt thick, and the only sound was the occasional crunch of gravel under our boots. And then we heard it, this low, creepy moan that sent shivers down our spine. It wasn't an animal sound, mind you, but something straight out of a paranormal book. Normally, I don't even believe in stuff like this, but there was something in the air that night. There were shadows playing tricks. The air felt like it does sometimes before a storm. We tried to laugh it off, made some jokes, but deep down, we were all getting really nervous. We wandered through the farm, checking out the barns, and stumbled upon the old milking parlor, a place that smelled like death warmed over. I swear, I heard whispers in the wind, telling tales of days gone by. And in the flickering light, I caught a glimpse of shadowy figures moving just out of sight, like in my peripheral vision. Creepy, huh? But the real freakout happened in the farmhouse. Inside, the temperature dropped like crazy, and we started feeling watched. Footsteps echoed behind us, but every time we turned around, there was no one or nothing there. Classic haunted house type stuff. In one of the rooms, we found this old photo album that gave us the serious creeps. Pictures of a family, kids, cows, like a snapshot of a long-lost time. And there was this picture of a woman staring at me like she had a bone to pick. I just couldn't shake the feeling that she was the source of those mournful mourns we'd heard earlier. We decided to bail, but as we headed out, things got even weirder. Now the air crackled with energy, and the shadows in my peripheral vision were going crazy. And I swear, I felt a cold hand on my arm. We ran out of there like our lives depended on it. It was like the whispers chased us out of there. I can't explain what happened that night, whether it was the spirits of the past or just our imaginations running wild. But one thing's for sure, that old dairy farm's got some serious spooky vibes. So, if you ever find yourselves in rural Ohio and hear about an abandoned farm, take my advice and steer clear. It ain't a place for the faint of heart. Signed, Adam.
Thank you to Steve Stockton from Among the Missing YouTube channel for another creepy story. Well, I love it when Steve kicks off hour number 3 each and every night here on Spaced Out Radio. Just kind of gives you a perspective of, oh, that's just nuts. Absolutely nuts. And we love it when Steve is here. You can sign up for his YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com/Among the Missing. Don't forget to hit subscribe. From the missing to the mysterious, filling in for a vacationing Courtney Marcassani, here's Sweet Robbie G.
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
Sweet Robbie G, thank you. And got to say congratulations on a great weekend that you had. A great show with Olaf Phillips, just talking about everything. I was tuned on in, could not put it down, my friend. Could not put it down. That was a great show that all of our listeners can go and listen on our YouTube channel. And soon, I'm going to tell you this, soon, I have a prediction to make. I do. Want to know what that prediction is? That soon we're going to call them the Sweets. Sweet Robbie G going to be on the podcast and radio side very, very soon. Very soon. When you're that good, you got to upgrade. You just have to. So congratulations, buddy, on what you're doing, man. You're doing some kick-ass stuff on the weekends.
Oh man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Dave. I was wondering if you were tuning in, man. It lets me know that and the viewers also let me know as well, and I do appreciate. I tell them all the time, and I definitely appreciate that it's to a level where you can actually sit back and watch it and enjoy the show. I'm just happy to hear that, Dave. So yeah, thank you.
That's what makes it good for me, man. Makes it good for me. Is that we are able to you know, push that level forward.
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah.
need to do. And we're in the process here soon of getting you all set up, so that way we can move you over to the podcast side. And I know a few of our radio stations are wondering when they're going to get some weekend entertainment as well. So stay tuned, people. It'll be happening soon, probably within the next month or two here.
And shout out to Sir Brian Bowden and Travis Mustos too, because they came through and they kicked it up a notch this weekend as well. And I appreciate them both. And we've been talking behind the scenes, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time.
Oh yeah, you got that right. You got that right. We got a lot of news happening from the weekend regarding UFOs, my friend, and we're going to get right into it right now. Where, apparently, according to the Daily Mail, a gentleman named Eric Tabor, a defense aerospace contractor for 13 years, told the Daily Mail of an egg-shaped metallic UFO that was kept at Area 51 during the 1980s. He revealed the story of his late great-uncle Sam Urquhart, an Area 51 contractor, telling him about this UFO at the mysterious base. Tabor testified in May to Arrow, who are collecting accounts of alleged government possession of non-human craft. Yeah, Ross Coulthard has talked about this guy. And yeah, 1980s, another whistleblower saying there was UFOs at Area 51 kind of lines up with the guy who nobody wants to believe in Bob Lazar, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely does. I mean, I don't, his story is so believable that I don't doubt this story here, that there was an egg-shaped craft, although Bob Lazar did kind of go over the ones that he saw, but maybe he wasn't privy to the area where this craft was. But, we know that they were doing things there. There are too many people there. John Lear and others who sat outside and watched these things flying through the sky. So, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. We need more of this. We need more people coming out telling these stories and kind of validating Bob Lazar.
It just amazes me how much synchronicity all of a sudden all of these stories have with Bob Lazar, where it was come out just a week or two ago that the CIA had in presence 9 UFO craft. Well, what did Bob Lazar say he had at S4? 9 craft within the S4 facility. Is that true? Yeah. I mean, now we got another guy saying that he saw a UFO craft at Area 51 in the 80s. Well, Bob Lazar was there in 89. Could that be one of the craft that he was trying to re-engineer? We don't know. We don't know. I mean, I don't think there is any UFOs at Area 51 today. I think once the base was really outed per se by President Obama, that I think they pretty much had it all cleared out by then. But there's a base somewhere out there. I mean, could it be Sandia Labs? Could it be Wright-Patterson Air Force Base? Could it be Dugway in Utah? Could it be anywhere? Maybe one of those off-limits islands off the coast of Alaska where nobody goes. Is this where we're now storing these UFOs? Right. Who knows? I mean, 29 Palms in California, in Palmdale, California, where Lockheed Skunk Works is, High Ridge Crest, California, KZFX, Appreciate you tuning us in. You know, we know a lot of you out there in Woo Land are listening in. So let us know if you got some aliens down there. We'd appreciate it. You know, but it just seems to always come back to the 80s and Area 51. I mean, that can't be a coincidence, Rob.
No, I mean, I don't think it is. And you know, like I said, I've always said, our historical data will stand the test of time, and you can always go back and refer to it when you have new things that come up. So new stories that come out, even though it's talking about a time in the 80s, you know, for David Grush's story, for example, a lot of the things that he came out and blew the whistle on kind of lined up with some of our own historical facts or historical data, you know, that we compiled. And then you think about the 80s, this is 40, you know, 30, a little over 30 years, 40 years after Roswell, when we figure all this stuff kicked off. So it was like the first, I don't even know if you want to call it a whistleblow. It was, I think, the natural progression to getting the information out, starting from Roswell. So, and then obviously at that time they tried to put the cap on it, and then here we are today. But I think the data stands the test of time, and you can always fall back on it to validate stories today. So that's why it's important for us to gather the data that we have, present it, that way it can be referred to at a later time to validate other things that may come up.
I agree with that. I agree with that too. You know, it also makes you wonder. I mean, we've talked about this before. What could be there now? You know, I mean, what could be flying around the airspace? Because from what I've been told by people who've worked in and out of the area, okay, is when Tuesday and Wednesday are and Thursdays, I believe, are the flight days. That's where you'll see helicopters and jets that we all know flying around. Thursday, I believe, is test day. Friday is breakdown day, and then the pilots and test pilots have the weekends off. So really, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the days when you're going to see any action out there. So if you're planning a trip to Area 51, going on the weekends, you're not going to see anything but mountains. However, during the week, that's when the woo kicks up, man. That's when the woo kicks up.
And here's the thing with that, right? So just like you were stating, so it's a good chance that the things that were there, the Bible Czar talked about, are probably no longer there. So they were probably moved somewhere else at some point in time under the nose of everyone. And that kind of, you know, it the same way that they would have relocated those crafts under the cover of darkness, or however they did it. This is the thing that I'm concerned about when it comes to these contractors that are currently holding these crafts, and the time frame that they have to try to relocate what it is that they have. And so that's the thing that concerns me, and it just shows that they can do it without us knowing that they're moving these things. But hopefully we have eyes on the ground at this point, at least hopefully on our behalf, that are keeping eyes on these locations so we can catch something being moved. But I do believe they are probably moving things if they haven't already.
Oh, for sure. The big question is where? You know, are they locked up? Are they locked up in facilities, like I said, at 29 Palms down in Palmdale, Lockheed Skunk Works, or are they at Dugway in Utah? Where are they hiding? Where are they hiding? And why?
Your guess as good as mine's, man. And hopefully the important part is that the Congress of the DoD knows where they're moving these things to, because we'll never get to go knock on the door to find out. Closest thing we can do is what Jim Goodall's group would do, and kind of just hang out around the perimeter of whatever location and try to see if we can catch something. But hopefully the Congress and all them are keeping tabs on where these things could move, if they're moving them, And that way, if they ever get the chance to go knock on the door, they're knocking on the right door. Because my whole fear is, in obviously that's kind of been stalled with what's going on now, but my whole theory was that, okay, the word is out that they're trying to pass legislation that allows them to go knock on these doors. And then, okay, we have a 6-month waiting period until this thing will get signed. So that's 6 months too long. 6 months time for them to move some stuff around. And my fear has always been, is, if we're going to look at that, is that, okay, they finally get the approval to go knock on these doors, and they go knock on these doors, and it's an empty warehouse, and they say, see, we never had anything to begin with. Whoever told you that is giving you wrong information. And then it kind of closes the case, or at least slows down our ability to go try and find and track these craft. So I hope someone's being smart enough to know that there is all this time to move things, and hopefully they have someone that's on the case kind of scoping things out and kind of keeping tabs and track of things. I would hopefully.
Well, former Air Force veteran, random guy in our chat room says there was never any UFOs or alien stuff there, being Area 51. Then he throws a shot saying they would never trust Marines with this stuff. LOL.
Okay, yeah. There's some Marines in this group here, so I don't know if you want to rile up the Marines, but yeah, I mean, joking aside, I mean, I guess when it comes down to that, I guess it really depends on if you're in the need to know. Like if you have the need to know, if you have the clearance to go see these things, if they were there, then okay. But if maybe you don't, maybe you do, maybe they're hiding them right under your nose, and so it could be something simple as that. It's compartmentalized, as we always talk about within the government, and when it comes to these crafts. So no one person is gonna ever have the keys to the facility in the way that you might want to be able to go and check every hangar and check every potential hiding spot. So that could go either way. That can go both ways.
All right, we got 1 minute to go here, and we're going to move on to a different subject. We're going to continue it right through the break as well, because once again, our good friend David Grush is trending on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a great interview with News Nation again, and basically is saying that he is about to go off and release more information here very, very soon. And this comes after the extreme watering down of the Schumer Rounds Amendment, calling it a greatest legislative failure in American history. Quickly, 30 seconds, your thoughts.
He's pissed, and he's just, I don't know what he's going to bring. Ross Coulthard kind of hinted that he didn't even know what he was going to bring, but that it was going to potentially have something to do with first-hand accounts of the craft. So I don't know if it's him in general or someone else. I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
It's going to be interesting. And when we return, we're going to get more into David Grush and what he said on News Nation, because he's still in the boxing ring fighting for UFO transparency. And if it's there, maybe he's the one who's going to out it. Spaced Out Radio continues with Sweet Robbie G and the UFO Report right after this. Stay tuned. FU, Zaddy, you're late for Nimitz, guy.
Yeah.
Simple rule: if it has military members present, it doesn't have ET. Thank you.
Shout out random guy. How you doing, bro? Long time no see.
Knowing him, he's probably listening to the show, plucking his eyebrows right now. Yeah, he's an eyebrow plucker. No, he's an eyebrow plucker.
Wow. Do you think he does the stringy thing where they do the stringy thing, or
no, he's Air Force, so he's not that coordinated.
Okay.
You know. No, I think he uses the tweezers and goes one hair at a time.
Yikes.
Yep.
Wowza.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's how he stays good looking.
I hear that. You got to kind of, I guess you got to keep up your appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame you.
Chrono Trigger, how you doing?
Oh, so this is a good time for me. Okay, we have 201 people in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
So here's a public service announcement. I would love to see 201 of you guys on the weekend show. You know, we do a weekend show, right? It's called After Hours. I'm the host, Mr. Rob G. We really have some great times on the weekend. And, you know, I don't know if you were aware that it's a great time. So I would love to see the 201 people that are here tonight come on and show up on Saturday. We're going to have a great time with Mr. Jim Goodall. It's always a great time. It's a little different twist than what you get during the week, but it's an awesome experience. So I would love to have everyone that's here tonight there on Saturday, if you have the time and if you don't mind.
Right. Perfect. I agree with you. Beth Noyes, how you doing? By the way, Beth Noyes, I put your name in for UFOCon 2023 as a guest speaker. Lori and Fenton may reach out to you to see if you'll speak there in 2023. So just so you know, I do that every now and again. Wallet Moth, how you doing? And guess what I got in the email today, Robbie?
What did you get?
I got an email from, and I'm actually kind of shocked, from Susan Shumsky, who's been a guest on this show, inviting me to Contact at Sea, September 6th through 13th, to go on a woo cruise.
Okay.
Between Seattle and Alaska and back.
Nice. Yeah. Congratulations, sir.
I don't know how, Bud. You know me in boats.
Hey, boats are you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Boats are big. Well, ship, if you're on a boat, if you're on a ship, the ship is big. You'll be okay.
Yeah, but dude, Jaws or Megalodon can still shear that thing down.
Do they have sharks up north that way? I don't. It's too cold, right? I don't know.
Depends on the time of the year. If the water is warm, great whites have been seen right up to halfway up Vancouver Island.
Wow, I didn't think they went up that far.
Yeah,
you'll be okay, Dave.
Back in the early 90s, on this western small fishing town called Bamfield, they actually caught a 20-footer.
Wow.
Yeah. Dave isn't doing that. Okay. But there's a lot of whales. There's a lot of whales. Okay. Which I'm kind of excited for because I've never seen whales in the wild.
That's going to be cool. Yeah. It's going to be, man, lovely. And I'm sure you're not going too far off coast. Usually they don't. You go just probably 7 to 10 miles off the coast. So you're going to be close enough to swim back to shore if the ship goes down, Dave. Just so you know, if you have a Titanic moment, you're going to be close enough to shore to swim, and you'll be good to go. So don't worry. But that's not going to happen.
Don't even freak the shit out of me like that, buddy. Okay, I already said yes, and I'm already panicking.
Yeah. You know what? I went on my first cruise during the SOR party, this last one, and it was first time on a cruise. I felt the same way. And we went to Catalina, and I'm going again in March. But I felt the same way when I got off the ship. I was just ready to book the next cruise, man. And that's how you're gonna be. You're gonna be
Hold on,
ready.
buddy. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go, the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to you, all of you, is I'll get into this in a second. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon, join the Space Travelers Club. What I was giggling about was I got a quick message listening in on Facebook. Moments ago during our break, I was telling our YouTube audience about how I got invited to Contact at the Sea, September 6th through 13th, 2024, on the Royal Caribbean Ovation of the Seas. It's an Alaskan cruise from Seattle all the way up to Alaska, round trip to Juneau, Sitka, Skagway, and Victoria. All right. And apparently they actually want me there. Don't know why. Maybe for shark food, just in case something happens. And Susan Shumsky, who's putting this event on, and she puts on a lot of beautiful events every year. She hops in exactly when we're talking about this. And she says, unbelievably, I just now tuned into your show and you announced about the cruise. What a kind of coincidence is that? Cannot be a coincidence. Nothing is coincidence, Susan. And I love you and thank you so much for thinking about me and Spaced Out Radio and our great audience. We're going to try and see how many audience members we could get to go on that cruise and hang on out with us, because Lord knows Dave's going to need some safety nets just in case Jaws is swimming around that boat saying, hey, Dave, come on down to the water. It's nice and warm down here. Yeah, I can see that happening. Oh, but the crab legs are going to be good, sweet Robbie G. They're going to be real good.
Dave, you go in the woods with Bigfoot, but you're scared to get on a boat?
Dude, have you seen the size of shark teeth?
Yeah,
okay?
But
people like you and me, we're meals. Okay,
yeah.
We're not appetizers. Okay, like Jessica Jones or Spookles the cat or people on our team like that. Okay, we are meals.
Well, you have to push someone over first, in front of you first.
There is no difference, my man, between you, me, and Wally the walrus, who's swimming and just having a decent swim in the ocean before Jaws comes up and says, hey, I'm hungry. Okay? It's truth.
You're going to talk yourself out of it, man, thinking like that.
Oh, no,
Positive thoughts, Dave.
I'm going to go. I'm going to be there with the bells on, and I'm going to be representing because I'm going to be like 40 to 60 pounds lighter than what I am right now.
Yeah, me too, man.
I'm going to have my Spaced Out Radio swimsuit on, be trotting around like, hey, guys and girls, let's talk some aliens in the pool, right?
Yeah, if you wear your Dave Scott Space Awareness draws, I think you'll be safe.
Hey, what about the sweet Robbie G undies we got going on there?
Yeah, man. I mean, anything to repel, but you're just overthinking it, man. I think if anything, you'll forget in the water, and then some dolphins will surround you and kind of guide you to safety, because that's what they do. I've heard they do that. And when I went on my cruise, I did see a school of dolphins out there. Saw no sharks, saw nothing that would eat me, or and I'm in California, so we have a lot of sharks out here. You're going to be okay, Dave. You're going to come back, and you're going to come back on Spaced Out Radio. You're going to tell everybody how much fun you had, and how you're ready to book the next cruise. I guarantee you, mark my words, we'll replay this clip when you come back from the cruise and watch what I said.
I've honestly never been on a cruise.
It's going to be fun. It's really fun, Dave.
Yeah.
You're going to. And if it's a real cruise ship, like a full size, I mean, truthfully, and because my parents I'm taking my parents with me on this next cruise, and they've never been on a cruise ship. And I keep trying to tell them, I'm like, you don't even realize you're on a ship. It feels like you're in a hotel or in a building. Unless you go out on the deck, which you don't have to do ever, then it feels like you're just in a building. It's like 6, 7, 8 floors of elevator, malls, restaurants. Also, you're gonna have a ball. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'm you know what? I had a lot of bad news today. I needed some good news, and this was just karma pushing it that my health is gonna be okay, and that I'm gonna be okay, and that I'm gonna work hard here to do what I gotta do to get back into a healthy lifestyle, shall we say. You know, so I need Susan Shumsky. I know you're listening. I needed some good karma today, and you provided that. So thank you so much, and much love to you.
And SOR has been invited somewhere, which we were trying to break that mold, and so that's going to be the beginning of a lot of good things to come for 2024. I can feel it. So
You're gonna have a busy
happen.
week. You're gonna have a busy week filling in for me.
Oh, it's all good, man. You know, I'm here. Whatever.
Yeah. I love it. All right, let's continue with the David Grush story here. And here he is. He's making more. I don't want to call them threats, Rob, but he's making more news that he literally plans on coming out and naming more places and names. And this is something I'm wondering. I'm just wondering. I'm throwing it out here. Who's giving him permission to say this right now? Because when you have that much type of information, you are bound by a lot of NDAs, my friend. Somebody has to be giving him some information on what he can and cannot put out there.
What I'm thinking is either he went back through the adopter process and got something additional approved. Probably not likely, but what I think probably happened is that there was something that he held back when he came out and gave the information that he gave. He held back a piece that he knew he was going to need later, and then now he's going to bring it out. I think that's the most likely thing. So it'll probably be something that was originally approved from the beginning that he just held in and didn't talk about. And now he's going to have the chance to go ahead and do that. I think that's probably the best case scenario. I don't know that they would help him break more information on the story as big as it was and how much it affected disclosure and shook things up. I don't know that they would give him a pass on more information. So we'll see.
Well, let's hear from David Grush here on News Nation. We're going to be using this under, the freedom of education and learning that Twitter or X has here, whatever that clause is called. And bear with me here because I want to get this right here for us.
Last week, Section 1687, which
I believe it starts around here
today. And frankly, the greatest legislative failure in American history. You had a very strong amendment for government transparency on this issue, whether you believe my allegations or not. This is a government transparency issue at large. And, the legislation was modeled off of, previous government transparency issues.
So what do you think of him calling this the greatest legislative failure in history, Rob? That's a pretty large shot at the older Republicans.
Yeah, and it's exactly the case because they allowed themselves to be influenced instead of doing what was right on behalf of the people. in taking this opportunity to be heroes and getting this thing pushed through as it stood, they allowed influence to come in and kind of influence the way that they the direction they took on opposing this amendment. So that's exactly, I would probably say the exact same thing, that is a failure, the failure of the people, a failure of your position as a Congress member. And you can get voted out for stuff like that. So hopefully whoever runs against these guys when their term and their time is up brings up these points, and we don't have to worry about them going forward.
All right, let's hear a little bit more from Grush here.
I mean, so we had a mixed bag of success, right? If we believe the conference report that was submitted last week, Section 1687, which effectively fences off money to illegal special access programs, something that Marco Rubio, Mark Warner, and his staff on the Senate Select Committee for Intelligence championed. That did make it through conference, and I do congratulate the senators that pushed hard to make sure that that was not removed during conference.
What's your thoughts on that?
It pretty much just solidifies what I just said. Their job is to do on behalf of the people and what the people want. And the people want this passed and pushed through as is. So for them to do anything other than that ends up being a failure. And you have examples of Burchett and the others that can go down as heroes technically at the end of the day for a lot of the things that they are doing, because they're doing their job as they should. So it pretty much solidifies what I said.
Well, we'll listen to it just a little bit more here.
To help further this effort,
it leaves the door open for
rated in a neutral
national security.
And that's why we were going to have a neutral 9-person panel, and all that was enumerated in the Schumer rounds, amendment earlier this year. And that was not written in a vacuum. That was written, with other individuals bringing them information as well.
Well, I mean, you could tell that he's trying to keep his chin up on something here, but you could sense the frustration that I think everybody within the UFO world has, that they wish that this would be a little bit more transparent. The biggest joke word going around the ufology is transparency. Transparent to who? That's what I want to know. To the skiffs, to the government programs, because it sure as hell isn't the public, Rob.
Yeah, transparency with the government to me is more like translucence. If anything, it's never transparency. It's never will be transparency. They should stop using that word. It's definitely more translucent than anything else. But apparently from what they're saying, they're we should still. Well, I'm going to say we, but not myself included, because I don't believe the government ever brings disclosure. But for the collective of us that care about how this goes, there's been things put out there saying that you should keep your head up because, this didn't go through, but you still have examples of people in Congress trying to still push the narrative and trying to get things moving on that end. So I guess it's good that you have that. You know what I mean? Again, because you could have nothing. You could have all of the Congress members doing what Mike Rounds and the other guy did, pretty much trying to squash it based on interests, personal interests. But which has been typically how politics have gone forever. So at least there's still a fraction of Congress that seems to be doing things on behalf of the people.
All right, let's hear from the guy who helped shoot this down, the Schumer amendment. This is Ohio Representative Mike Turner, also one of the heads of intelligence. And basically, everybody who votes within the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base area is his voter. So let's hear what he has to say.
You know, Maria, I always love it when you have somebody who comes forward and testifies about things that they don't know anything about. I mean, the most, I think, striking aspect of all of the testimony was repeatedly over and over again. The whistleblowers had to say, actually, I don't have any knowledge of this. Somebody else told me that. I mean, really, this would take thousands and thousands of people for such an unbelievable cover-up.
All right, that's going back to an interview that he did a while ago. I do apologize, where he was literally giving a shot at David Grush for coming out as a whistleblower. I thought that was something new that someone had posted there, so I do apologize for that. But this is the gentleman who literally has helped quash the Schumer amendment, right? It just doesn't look very good. Doesn't look very good at all.
Doesn't sound very good either. Yeah, I mean, wow. I can't believe he sat up there and said that when we know the government keeps secrets very well. In with the Manhattan Project and was thousands of people were involved with that, right? And never got out. So I mean, it bothers me. It really bothers me to hear things like that when you know, if they know history, then they should know different. And I believe he probably does. But he's speaking, like you said, his voting area is Wright-Patterson. So he probably has people in his ear in that area that are telling him to say these things, which is sickening. It's just so I don't really follow politics in that way for that very reason.
You know what's funny though is you never ever hear a politician, or rarely hear a politician, slam a veteran, a decorated veteran.
That part.
And is he only doing this because it's UFOs? Would he be doing this if it was something, you know, else that was coming out?
Probably. If it affects the bottom line and his ability to stay in office, and you're upsetting the balance, then he probably would. He probably take the same stance, and that's literally what they do all the time. So it could be any issue, and as long as if it's something that upsets his financial backers, then he's going to have a problem with it. He's going to take a stand. So yeah, I don't think just UFOs, but there should be, and that's why I commend, Burchett and those guys, because they understand what this means for the people. You know what I mean? And for someone to not show any compassion in a moment where humanity can literally change for the better, where things could really turn around and we could live in a better situation, to sit up there and not care, because I'm sure they've had these talks behind the scenes trying to convince each other to back these things, and they're literally saying, hey, I don't care about that. I don't care about humanity. I don't care how, if humanity ascends or not. I don't care about that. And that's literally what they're doing. So it's sickening to watch.
We got a couple minutes to go here before we have to call it the night here on Spaced Out Radio. Sweet Robbie G filling in for Courtney Marcassani on the UFO Report as she travels back from a conference in New York. It's something that we're going to see. I mean, I'm curious to see if David Grush is going to release this information before Christmas, or if he's going to wait until after the holidays to make that impact, because we are getting to a looming media deadline here, where in about a week or so, news, there's not going to be a lot of people watching or paying attention to the news, which is why a lot of government places try and push things through around Christmas time so people don't actually listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, what you're watching is you're watching chess. You're watching chess play out. Chess moves are being made. They've been made all year. When you go back to the NASA hearing and how they tried to really make disclosure look like a silly thing, and the chess move was Grush was sitting on ice that whole time. The chess move was to bring him out, checkmate, right? And then so I think this is another chess move. So we've been slapped in the face with them denying the amendment, and then so our next chess move is what we're going to hear David Grush do, and potentially some other stuff too. And that's how you have to battle this. That's how you have to take these guys on, because there's no other way to do this but to play chess. And I'm gonna love to see it play out. I can't wait to see what it is, and I hope it's something that you know that hits just as hard as when Grush came out initially.
Well, we're going to find out. We are totally going to find out here, because I think I like him pissed off. I do like David Grush a little pissed off with what he's seeing. I think it adds to the excitement of the story. It adds to the juice of the story. And let's face it, who doesn't like a little bit of juice? You know, when you're thirsty for some stuff, you want some juice in there, you know?
I love it. I'm all for it. Catastrophic disclosure.
Or #catastrophic Rob G.
I'm gonna try to help bring disclosure. I got some things I'm planning on trying to do, because we need people to try to fit to use action to actually do some things to try to help these guys. Right, they're out there doing what they're doing. A lot of us are armchair quarterbacking, Monday morning quarterbacking. And what can we do? What can we do to get out there and help do something? And that's so yeah, it's going to be #catastrophic Rob helping disclosure. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Or just #sweet Robbie G.
There we go. There we go.
That one works too.
At
Rob,
the end of the day, I'm doing my part.
Thank you for filling in on the UFO Report. Always appreciate you, all what you do behind the scenes and for Spaced Out Radio. As we got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter or X at #SpacedOutRadio. I know you're out there somewhere. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train is docked for tonight. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. There we go.
And cut. Yeah, great show. Great show, Dave. Kevin Day, man.
So
awesome guy. Awesome guy. You had a good one today.
You always have a good one.
I try, man. I'm trying to get to your level, man. And yeah. I'm following your lead, buddy.
Hey, buddy, you just follow it. And we'll get you to where we need you to go. You're doing awesome. You're doing awesome. One of the things that we need to do is get you putting in keywords. First off, getting your YouTube shows in a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And number 2, getting the keywords in there and getting it monetized.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to kill those commercials that are flagging too.
Once we do that, it'll be good. It'll be real good. So good.
Yeah, Jim Goodall on Saturday is going to be awesome. Oh, I can't wait to talk to him about what we were talking about earlier, the successor to the SR-71, and then just his thoughts on what we talked about. Is this all about covering up government projects, or is this about UFOs? I would love to hear what Jim has to say about that. We're going to find out.
For sure. That's what it's about. Anyways, I want to say a big thank you to W. Decker, Catherine, Mennonite Abe, Android, and T-Bone for the great super chats tonight. Thank you to all our new subscribers. We're already past 24,300. That's moving up real quick again. So thank you, everyone. Don't forget to leave a comment after the show. And I'm pretty tired tonight after going through the shit I went through earlier today. So I'm going to knock this off early, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. We got a great guest tomorrow from MUFON International. Bob Spearing is joining us to talk about a new project and about the year in review with MUFON with some of their great cases. So let's all come back tomorrow night and do it all again, everybody. Take a time to share the stories and go shop at our store, spaceoutradio.com, where we do not have ugly swag. We should actually go over with the people before we go here.
Why not?
We should go over this. All right. Let's look at this lovely swag here. Hold on. Here we go. Look at this. After Hours Bigfoot right here. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous logo.
Oh, yeah.
If that doesn't look like Sweet Robbie G, I don't know what does.
Needs a headband bandana, man. If he's going to jack my swag, he needs to do it fully.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at this. You ever seen an alien rocking a Les Paul?
Oh, yeah, that's sick.
Let's rock. Gorgeous shirt. Nothing wrong with that. Ready to play a little Paradise City beside Slash. Right? Hold on. Let's go big screen here. What else we got here? Huh? You're on Team Lazar? You need a Team Lazar shirt. No need for a UFO. That's on the back of the shirt. But the glasses, are those not Bob Lazar glasses?
They definitely are.
Right? Team Lazar, right there. Sasquatch Canada. A little fuck you, Dave shirt. Here's one of our new ones that we put up because we know that any of you would like one of these. This is the old Disclosure for Dollars, Rob.
Yeah.
Isn't that a nice shirt?
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. Disclosure for Dollars. Everybody wants money out of this. You should have one of these. I might send one to Ryan Graves.
Ooh, burn.
And Avi Loeb, too. What else we got here? Where's the sweet stuff? Oh, there's part of the sweet stuff right there. Look at that.
Man, yeah, that's sick, man. I want to see this t-shirt in Reno, man. Somebody just, at least one person come up with one of these, man, and I would love that. I'll write something on it for you if you want as well.
It even looks like you a little bit,
That's what I'm saying. That's why it had to happen.
Look, for all the dudes out there, look at that. You get a nice lip blade t-shirt right there.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a nice lip blade t-shirt?
It reminds me of Grant's lip blade.
Yep. I like this one. Celebrating Conspiracy. Who doesn't need that one in storm camo?
Yeah.
Getting that one for myself for Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a strong one.
Merle. Here's a cool one. I'm gonna hit up the chat room on this one. Does anybody know what this means?
World Tour 97.
This is my favorite one. I think the chat room's figured it out.
Well, it's the Phoenix Lights. It was in 97. But
Bingo.
yeah, but you wrote Phoenix Lights right next to the shirt.
Yeah, I put it right there. God damn, that's dumb. That was dumb. All right, next one. It's one of my favorites. Look at these. Look at these Rob G briefs. Look at this on the back. You own the night.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Hilariously cool though.
You're needing a pair of these, Sweets. Admit it.
Yeah, I got them. Believe me, I'm getting some.
Yeah. What did you say to your other half when you said, "Hey, I got a pair of boxers now"?
Dave, someone said, I got to bring this up. My camera died, but someone said that you said you got to have Dave Scott on your crotch or something like that. I don't know what was the exact words you used.
Hell yeah! All right, what do we got here? Scented SOR. This is one of my favorite logos that we have.
I haven't seen that one. That was cool. It's like the In-N-Out burger almost.
Yeah. With on the front, little rounded, spaced out radio right there.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Did you just add that, or it was always there?
It's always been there. I just rebumped it.
Okay.
Yeah. There's the socks.
I do like those socks.
Yeah. Those are pretty badass.
Yeah, I do like those socks for sure.
Those are pretty badass. What else we got here? Oh, here's an oldie but a goodie that's been around for a while.
I like that one too.
Little SOR UFO action.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Yep, I think so. And look at Sweets here. The Sweet Hoodie G. Zip up. Turn it to the back. What do you got? Boom. After Hours with Sweet Robbie G.
Yeah. Yeah, I've included that in the show too. It goes in the upper right corner of the screen. So
yeah,
that is the logo.
And you can get different colors as well, people.
I'd be happy with at least one person showing up. But if everybody showed up with one, oh my gosh.
Hey, got a cell phone? We got a case for you now.
Yep, I says iPhone 15 case.
Yeah. I love these ones.
Yeah, I like that too. That with the trucker hat.
Yep. Where is the trucker hat?
Probably
here's the Sweet Robbie G Sakis here.
Yeah, I like those too. It's just a mean logo, man. Yeah, there's a trucker hat. Yeah, that hat with that shirt you just showed. Yeah, that's the combination right there.
You got that right. What else we got here?
I like the We Own the Night t-shirts.
Yeah, that one's kind of cool. Oh yeah, we got the new planchette, yes or no. This shirt is made to go to the bar, people.
Love me to comment on this.
Friends, yes or no. You just pop it right in the planchette right there. See what I'm saying? No ugly swag, people.
No.
There's nothing ugly here.
Nothing. And more to come too, actually. So it's going to be really, really cool. It'd be cool to have everybody there wearing at least one piece. Just, something.
Absolutely, my man. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm going to shut her down here, bud. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, it's all good, Dave. You already know. Anytime, man. It's all good. And I will talk to you soon, buddy.
See ya. Take care, everybody.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.